Good evening, folks. Welcome to Debate the News on this Monday, the 3rd of March, 2025. Guys, it's going to be an exciting one, man. This administration is apt to it again. So, hey, folks, do me a favor. If you are in this room, share it. I don't know what that's going to do. Hey, guys, ping your friends and let them know that we're here, guys. Because we got an exciting one, man. Because President Donald John Trump is being President Donald John Trump as only he could be, folks. So with that being said, let's get this thing started. Let's get this party going. Everyone is here, folks. So we're going to be talking about the pausing of the aid, the military aid. So if you listen to us at home, come join us live. Come join us live on the Chatham social app. You can download that app either on the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. Hey, if you're listening to us in the audience, up top, there is links, guys. I want you guys to click the link and follow the podcast. So with that being said, folks, I want to say thank each and every one of you guys for being here tonight. Man, oh man. Man, we're looking at just so much happening today. And one of the main things that's happening today is, we have that Donald Trump saying that he's going to move forward with the tariffs. So we're like, yeah, we're going to go with that because it really did it really wiped the market today. So I was like, wow, okay, we'll go with that, And so that's where we are heading, and we're getting ready for that. And then all of a sudden, wham, it was like, it wasn't a wham. It was more of a knockout, let's get rid of that. And it was more or less, hey, you know what? We have to pivot. All right. And the reason we had to pivot is because, man, breaking news came out. Breaking news. Hey guys, bring 10 up 10. Someone bring 10 up, please. So it was breaking news, and Donald Trump, paused all military aid to Ukraine after the office dust up that they had. And let me just say this right here, folks. It was crazy to hear that. So I was like, wow. So we had to pivot immediately to that because there's several things going on here. And, one of the things that, pausing of the aid, that benefits Russia because it hurts Ukraine immediately because they've been using the equipment and the aid to really do a phenomenal job at pushing Russia back, actually winning. I would go as far as to say winning the war, with the aid. So it really helps Russia tremendously because Russia, they, in terms of bargaining, they had limited bargaining chips. So Trump, said, hey, you know what? We're going to help you out here by limiting this aid. Okay. And that was a bit, that was just frustrating to hear tonight. But this comes on the heel of him also, the defense secretary, Pete Hegseth, actually telling, just instructing everyone to stop all electronic offensives against Russia. So basically, no more, offensive attacks against Russia, but Russia does not have to stop offensive attacks against us. And I was like, wow, that's unbelievable. And then, you're like, wow, why is that? And then, the way Ukraine, so that favors Russia. Then all of a sudden, the way he was trying to force Ukraine to accept an agreement with Russia without any security assurances, okay? And saying he should be lucky. It was like sort of like he bullied him. So, that was a good propaganda coup for Putin at home, because, hey, for the first time ever, the Russians were in the White House able to stream that thing live. So it was crazy as hell to see that happening as well. So that favored Russia as well. So it's sort of like I'm watching an episode of the Brady Bunch, and when instead of them saying Marsha, 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 it's Russia, Russia, Russia. So that's what it feels like, folks. So, but hey, I'm ready to talk about it. I'm ready to discuss it. Hey, guys, if you guys are down below and you guys want to be a part of this, make sure you guys raise your hand and join us up here and have this conversation. Once again, guys, I do want to remind you, because of the circumstances, we're limited to the people that we have here on the chatter platform right now at this moment. So take heed to the warnings and the precautions we told you guys to take prior to the show beginning. So with that being said, folks, I want to open this up. First of all, Tirah, how you doing? Welcome back.
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm dandy. I'm great now that you're home, Tirah. I was like, wow, definitely excited to have you here, and just definitely wanted to have this. When all of this stuff was happening, the first thing that went to my mind was, I wish I had Tirah to speak to. Okay, once again, I wish I had Tirah to speak to. And so and then we text a couple of times. Tirah, listen to me. I'm thrilled to see you here. So Tirah, I know I did not ask this of you, but Tirah, here we go. Is it possible you're able to do a Dateline for us?
Sure, but it, it might not be the best, but sure. Okay. Um,
Breaking news, City Indy.
All right, Tirah, let's go.
okay. As Jonathan just said, Donald Trump announced on Monday a pause for United States assistance to Ukraine after the Oval Office meeting that we all heard about that went very, very poorly. It's unclear how much money we're actually talking about. There had been a $31 billion request from Joe Biden before he left. It looks like 20 million of that might have already gone out. So we might be talking about 11 billion, but it was scheduled, I believe, to go out on a monthly basis. So it might be as much as a billion, unclear, several hundred million right now. And it's unclear how long this pause is going to last. Trump has clearly expressed concerns about negotiating with Zelensky. He seems to want Zelensky to literally say, I'm so sorry, so sorry, and come back and then, after he's been obsequious, sign the minerals agreement, which we don't really know that much about. Okay, so number two, as Jonathan also said, Trump today announced that he was not putting a pause, which people thought he might, on the 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico. The market went down over 600 points. It was a disaster of a day. Apparently there's no way they can forestall these tariffs. It's unclear exactly what he wants from Canada, because Canada has very few of the fentanyl and illegal migrants that he seems to be concerned with. So it's really not clear who he's negotiating with and what he wants. But tariffs are scheduled to go into effect tomorrow, and I expect the market will go down further. The Pope has had another bad episode. He was put back on a breathing device of some kind. Apparently he's comfortable now, but things are really not looking good. He's been in the hospital for quite some time. RFK Jr. Anti-vaxxers are really pissed at RFK Jr. because he put out an announcement of the measles episodes in Texas and I guess in New Mexico, saying that kids should be given the MMR vaccine. He wasn't as clear cut as maybe that, but he didn't say don't do it, and he suggested it was a valuable tool, etc. So as you might all know, many of the anti-vaxxers think that the MMR vaccine causes autism, and they are really, really angry, and they're expressing their anger at RFK Jr. I don't know if this was discussed yesterday, but Andrew Cuomo announced his campaign, his candidacy for the mayor of New York City. He immediately vaulted into the lead. He had already been in the lead on pre-announcement polls. He gave a speech talking about how terrible New York was and how he was going to bring it back, etc. We will see if this holds up. The other candidates are quite scared because he seems to have a lot of support and a lot of money behind him. The Oscars last night, I didn't see Anora. I don't know if anybody did. It doesn't seem to have been seen by that many people. I'm assuming it was a really, really good film. It literally won everything: best film, best director, best script, etc. So I guess it'll get a wider release. But maybe people should see it if they haven't, since it seems to have gone so well. Starship, Elon Musk. There was a big launch today, scheduled for today. It was canceled with 40 seconds to go. It might be rescheduled for tomorrow or the next day. There were some suggestions from people that they had been a little hasty and had not done enough preparation for this launch, and that's why there were some problems with it, but we will see. And finally, the Trump administration has informed the NOAA that two leases for weather forecasting will probably be canceled. Now, this sounds like it's a nothing, but to be honest, one of them is in College Park, Maryland, and that's where they literally do all these weather forecasts for all, all different states, etc. If we don't know what weather is going to happen, we are going to be at a serious loss in terms of what to prepare for, etc. So I would suggest people should really pay attention to this because this could impact your daily planning and disaster planning as well. Thanks. That's all I got.
You know what, Tirah, that was awesome. I appreciate it, Tirah. Como. When I saw him saying he's going to run, I was like, okay, yeah, I did see that, and I was wondering, because he was governor, whether or not they were going to elect him because of the way he left and that disgrace, and so, but I haven't done much digging into it, and you're a New Yorker, so you definitely know what's going on here, and so. Yeah.
Well,
So
the thing is, there were sexual, I don't know, I guess abuse allegations against him. They were not like of the, of the order of rape. As far as I understand, they were more inappropriate touching, things like that. But of course, in this day and age, as we know from Trump, that's probably a badge of honor these days because
absolutely.
most people in his administration seem to have those sort of issues. But not, more to the point about that, he was never charged criminally. There was an investigation that said he did these things, but there were no criminal charges brought. So I think that won't be much of an issue, truthfully. The second issue has a little more legs, which is that Andrew Cuomo there was a directive that his administration sent to send people who had COVID, older people with COVID, back to the nursing homes. And that, look, I think it's quite exaggerated as to how many deaths that actually caused. People have been saying 15,000. That's not the correct figure. It's something, but it could be as much as 1,000. Most people think it's anywhere from 500 to 700. But that's a lot of people dying. And he did not, even if he did it in good faith, he did not sort of revoke that directive soon enough, let's just say. So I think that will be something they will really get him on because, that's life or death. The other stuff is a question of whether he or she and believe people. But I think he's going to win. Honestly, I don't think there's much appetite for Eric Adams at this point.
No. Well, what about the Republican
I don't
candidate?
see that happening. And quite frankly, my view is if Eric Adams doesn't get nominated, that the Trump administration will probably bring the charges against him because why not? Right, because then he can't help them anymore. I also think the other people, Brad Lander, Scott Stringer, they're sort of similar types, and I think Cuomo just has a bigger presence. And my suspicion is he will win the nomination and probably the mayorship.
So Tirah, that once again, I laughed when he said they'd probably bring the charges against him if he's not renominated. Wow. That's that, Tirah. Thank you once again. Thank you, guys. We usually have a right-leaning Dateline that follows that, but because of the technical difficulties that we're having here tonight, even though that happened, the show must go on, folks. We're dedicated here. So, with that being said, what we're going to do, all right, is we're actually, and once again, guys, we're on the other platform as well. So if someone has is unable to join us, let them know that they can that we are actually live on the other platform as well, and they can join us and get in there. So yeah, maybe Ben Stock needs to know about that. So I'll probably send him something really quickly. But I'm gonna do something unusual. Because Storm has a really Skald has a really banging Dateline. But before you get to that one, he has a business Dateline. All right. Skald, I like for you to do that business Dateline first, and then after that, we'll come right back and we will do the other Dateline.
Okay, Jonathan. Skald here. Hello, everyone. It is March 3rd, 2025. We've already heard the liberal Dateline from Tirah, so I just want to go ahead and talk about a few other things. One of the things is the Treasury has scrapped enforcement of beneficial ownership rules. And, there's a lot of left spin on this, saying that it's allowing money laundering Anyone out here who owns a small business knows that these rules were onerous. The penalties for it were ridiculous. Some of you may have heard from your accountants that you needed to file beneficial ownership or face massive fines on the tune of $10,000 and up to a year in prison. I, for one, think rolling this back is actually a pretty good move by President Trump. So that's an unusual one there. Also, getting into a little bit of the funding, Speaker Mike Johnson has called to fund the government through September to include Musk's efficiency cuts in the 2026 budget, with the stopgap being March 14th to keep the government open and running. Other than that, I wanted to go ahead and get into the crypto reserve announcement that came out by Trump last night into this morning. He has announced that several cryptos will be part of the crypto reserve in theory, and that this will be sovereign purchasing of cryptos that will include Bitcoin. It may include XRP. It may include Solana, and it may include ADA. And it may include others, right? But those are just the ones that were specifically mentioned when he talked about the crypto reserve. So, lastly, did you want me to go ahead and get into this market sell-off news, Jonathan?
Yeah, of course, guys. And guys do know that Daphne Christine, she's a little tied up. She's joining us a little later on, but she will be back tomorrow during the business Dateline. Yeah, go ahead, Skull.
Yeah, so in market news, we've had continuous downward pressure on the Dixie, DXY. This is what traders call the dollar index. So this is a measure of the United States dollar relative to currencies globally. And, it was at, it fluctuates, it goes up and down, right? And it moves around just like any other stock. But this is actually the strength of our US dollar. And so the stronger the dollar, right, the more purchasing power we would have overseas. That means that if we flew to another country, our dollar would be able to buy more stuff, and their money would be able to buy less things in dollars. That was at a peak in 2022, and then it peaked again at the end of Biden's presidency. However, it has been continuously trending downward since Trump's inauguration, showing a weakening of the dollar. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean negative things, right? One of the ideas that a weak dollar has is it actually makes American manufacturing and American goods more attractive to foreign countries. Cheaper dollar, closer to the foreign currencies, means they can buy our stuff cheaper. So when I say weaker dollar, that's an economic term. There's no moral judgment here. But it is important for this next story that you understand that, because as the dollar weakens, typically equity prices increase, right? The dollar is relatively cheaper, so a share of Apple should cost more, right? In an ideal world. But what we saw today was a massive sell off as Trump began addressing the world about the tariffs that would be going into effect. One of the reporters asked him if there was any way that they could be avoided by Mexico and Canada, and he clarified that there is not. We saw $1 trillion wiped off the entire stock exchange in about 15 minutes. And by the end of trading at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, all equities were, had $1 trillion lesson. The stock market's about 50 trillion bucks, right? So we're talking about 2% of it being wiped out in a single trading day. This is a brutal sell-off. Now, a few things to note about this sell-off. It was low volume, so we didn't see big players selling off, right? Like banks, hedge funds, family offices. But we did see a lot of movement on certain specific stocks, and we did see, as I said, a broad market sell-off. People have been protecting themselves from the downside since the inauguration and since Trump had brought up tariffs. People have been buying basically puts, which are a way to downside protection. They've been hedging. They've been shifting towards cash and treasuries. Buffett, notably, is at an all-time high in his cash reserve, right? Just setting it on the side and not having it invested. So this is a sell-off. There are a bunch of economic indicators pointing towards a recession right now. I could go over them if anyone cares to hear about them. But, we're in a precarious position, and news on these tariffs just precipitated a brutal sell-off in the market. After hours, it looks like it's holding steady, but we'll have to see if tomorrow continues the bleed. And I land, Jonathan.
Wow. Okay, man. Appreciate that as always, man. Oh man. So here's the deal, folks. Man, Donald John Trump, President Donald John Trump, okay, is at it again. All right, so is at it again, folks. And I say that respectfully because it looks like we have some movement here. I say that respectfully, and the reason I say it respectfully is because of the fact that Donald John Trump, believe it or not, folks, he's put a pause on the what you call it? He put a pause on the military aid to Ukraine, and this is, I guess, directly a result of, I guess, Ukraine, the dust up. Wow. All right, we're back, guys. Glitch fix. The dust up with Zelensky in the office. All right, so since we're back, I can use this advice. So anyway, yeah, it's the dust up with Zelensky in the office. So what happened there, folks, is, believe it or not, uh, Biden, before he left, he did a whole bunch of aid because he figured something like this was happening, and he tried to do a surge to get that product over to Ukraine. Okay, because Ukraine uses that product. Okay, they were using it to successfully, I guess, battle and fight Russia. So this right here, believe it or not, folks, is a win for Russia. Once again, this is a win for Russia. So with that being said, but Donald Trump has decided to pause the aid as a result because he wants an apology. Because the rest of the world, okay, saw what happened. The rest of the world is calling out what happened, and he wants an apology because he wants the rest of the world to believe that if Zelensky apologizes, that he wasn't, in fact, in the wrong, and that Zelensky was. So once again, folks, welcome to the show. Once again, oh wow, feels good to be back.
Could
So
I just,
anyway,
Jonathan, could I just respond to two things Scald said?
yeah, yes, go ahead.
Okay, so number one, Scald, you talked about the beneficial ownership forms. I have three LLCs, and in terms of small LLCs, it took me 10 minutes each. You talked about the onerous nature of it. It took me 10 minutes each to fill these out. They were incredibly easy. So maybe for larger companies, et cetera, it's a problem. But for small businesses, this was a nothing. It wasn't because I was a lawyer. I did it on my own, no issues. Okay, that's number one. Number two, the crypto reserve. One of the reasons why it's been considered problematic is because David Sachs is Trump's crypto czar. And he used to own positions in every cryptocurrency that Trump announced the United States would be buying. He has said that he sold it, right? Which obviously would lead to a huge conflict, right? He has said that he sold this, but he still owns portions of this company called Kraft, which owns portions of Bitwise, which owns the currencies. So there is some sense that he will personally benefit from this crypto reserve that Trump sort of announced. And also, we do not know. Trump's family is heavily engaged with crypto meme coins and things like that. It's entirely possible that Trump himself or members of his family also own these particular currencies. Thanks.
Absolutely, no problem, guys. That's once again, that's a little shady. But anyway, with that being said, Tara, I want to open this up because right now it seems like our president's doing a lot for Mother Russia. He's doing a lot. And pausing this aid, this military aid, only helps Russia. It doesn't help anyone but Russia. So just looking at this, listening to this, I'm wondering why would a president do this? And also, Tara, I know you didn't mention during your what do you call it, your Dateline, that he did. He also, I guess, well, the defense secretary paused the what
Crypto, our
the
offensive
offensive,
crypto, sorry,
no,
not our crypto,
offensive
cyber.
cyber, exactly, attacks.
Yeah.
Let's go with
So
that.
we're not allowed to look at whether Russia is doing bad things, and we're not allowed to do bad things to Russia,
Exactly.
basically.
So what are your thoughts on those?
Well, look, if Putin had a playbook, Donald Trump is executing it, right? First of all, he's saying we're not going to help Ukraine. That's what Putin wants. Secondly, he's saying we want to negotiate with Putin. We want to have Putin make sort of all the decisions or a lot of the decisions about Ukraine. That's what Putin wants. Third, he's saying we don't want to look into whether Russia is doing anything nasty to us, and we're not going to look into what they are doing, etc. So that's what Putin would have wanted. I mean, I can't think of one thing Donald Trump has actually done. In fact, and how do we that is against Putin? How do we know this? Because they have been tweeting and posting from Russia saying the United States is being so smart, they're so clever, they're so good, these are great policies. Putin has been saying that he wants Ukrainian elections, which is ridiculous in the middle of a war zone with 7 million people out of the country and Russia controlling certain territories. But, Elon Musk is calling for elections. All the Trump officials are calling for elections. So in all honesty, I can't think of one thing that Russia would have wanted that Donald Trump is not doing. And one has to question why that is.
Absolutely. Anyone else wants to join in on that? Because I'm certainly questioning why that is. Because there's no reason for us to pause that aid. There's no benefit there. There's no benefit to it. So I'm just listening as I listen to everything that's happening. Tara, I don't know. Let's see if we can come up with a list of things before we get into this military aid that Putin, that Trump has done that benefits Putin and Russia. Okay, so pausing this aid is obviously one, correct?
Yes.
The no offensive cyber offensive coming from the U.S. That's two,
Right.
right?
He's also gotten rid of some of the, I think it's CISA, there's some of the people who are supposed to be looking at cyber threats. He already had basically decimated their agencies. I'm sure Russia's happy about that.
Okay.
He's calling for, he and his, or at least his team has called for elections in Ukraine, which is exactly what Russia would want because they will find a way to, intervene, let's just say, in those elections. That's what Putin wants. I know I'm missing one or two that I just said before, but it's I can't. What does Putin want? Putin wants to take over the land that he has in Ukraine and possibly some more of it, right? Isn't that what Putin really wants? And
Absolutely.
he wants to do that without any without any problems, right? He doesn't really want to have to give up anything, etc. Right now, as far as we know, we haven't heard Trump say one word about how Russia needs to do something. It's all been Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine. So there's no suggestion that Russia needs to pull back or give up some of the land it took, etc., or hold fair and free elections. Good luck with that, Putin. And I guess I can't think of anything Vladimir Putin. And also, we have, and I know this will be maybe controversial, but Tulsi Gabbard is a strong Russian supporter, let's just say. A lot of the people in the Trump administration seem to be more pro-Russian, let's just say, than people in other administrations have ever been. Now, you can argue, well, it's not so bad to have a more realistic view, etc. But at the end of the day, I'd like anybody on this stage to tell me exactly what it is that Trump is doing in opposition to any Russian position.
He's not doing
That's
anything.
good, Carlos. Let's do it.
He's not doing anything. Donald Trump is being shitty. He's a 5-year-old throwing temper tantrums, mad because him and Zelensky got into it. But just like I said on Friday, where's Europe at? Europe is supposed to be the one supplementing Ukraine. And if I was Zelensky and I put on that show, I'd tell Donald Trump, keep your damn mail. I don't need shit from you. But guess what? Like I said on Friday, he's going to still have to come deal with this orange man in the White House to get what he needs because Europe is not going to supplement him. So they can clap, they can get happy, they can drive Zelensky on. Zelensky needs to be like, he's like, hey, you know what? Where is the support at? Don't cheer me on. Give me the support because guess what? I got to go back to Washington and deal with that orange man.
Let me just say this right here. They did support him. Okay. They took Russian confiscated funds. I'm getting conflicting reports. Is it 200 billion? Approximately 197.
Yeah, give or take. Yeah, I think we're around there.
Okay, they took that money and they're giving it to Ukraine. All right. So your the EU, I guess the UK and Canada. It seems like they are stepping up. They have stepped up, Carlos. So that's something when you're saying where's Europe? Europe is stepping up. They're there. Okay. Um, you know, uh, he met with I guess all of the European leaders. He met with King Charles III in his uniform. he met so Zelensky met with all those guys in his uniform. No one had a problem with how he was dressed. There was no one ridiculing him the way he was dressed. You know, I don't know if you guys know this, but the reporter that asked that question, that's Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend. All right. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. I don't, Tara, were you aware of that?
Yes, I was. Yeah.
That's like, come on, guys. So, and you know, and Trump sat there and he allowed guys. This is a world leader. Okay, this is a guy that's leading a country that's fighting a war. You know, and Trump sat there while he was berated by a reporter, and he sat there while he's berated by his vice president. That's never happened before, ever. So, you know, it's like they were laughing at him, they were ridiculing him, they thought it was fun. You know, Daphne, are you there? All right, so I thought Daphne Christine was there. All right, so anyway, with that being said, folks, we're gonna jump right into this conversation, folks. I want to make sure that each and every one of you guys, once again, I'm ready to have this conversation because you know I'm not ready to call Trump a spy, right, Grant? I'm not
He's a
ready to call him a spy.
spy. I'll call him a spy.
What'd you say? What'd you say, Carlos?
Call him a spy. But the thing
Okay.
about it is, Jonathan, is have they promised weapons? They send him the money. What are they going to do? Make it rain on Putin? Him? You need weapons to push Russia back. You can't just throw dollars at him.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. You do need money. You need to actually. I mean, you do need weapons. But once again, guys, listen to me. There's nothing that has happened so far that President Trump has done. Okay, to push Russia to do anything. Pretty much, they're telling Russia, you've done everything right. That's the appearance that is giving Russia. You've done everything correct. You haven't done anything. You know, they're telling Zelensky he needs to get off his high horse. He needs to check his ego. He needs to negotiate. He needs to be prepared. He needs to give up minerals. You know, he needs to do all of this. All right. Everything they're speaking about is Zelensky needs to do. There was nothing that they've said so thus far that said that Putin need to do something. So, and that's the problem. That's what I have the problem with because if this is negotiations, and if that's what we're doing, negotiating, all right, then let's negotiate. Okay, let's not sit here and say that this one guy is responsible for everything. Okay, when Putin was the aggressor, Putin is the known aggressor that went in to Ukraine. So with that being said, I have a huge problem. I have a huge problem with anyone, that sits there and said that Putin did the right thing. I've heard a lot of people come in here and say Putin was defending his country. Putin, well, we were in violation with NATO. I've heard all of those things, and all those things are wrong. And there's documentation to prove that all those theories are incorrect. So I have no problem, none whatsoever. Okay, defending that. So I think that Europe is playing is very smart. Europe is playing this very smart. So, the sell off today. In terms of the sell off, Skull, are you here, Skull?
I'm here,
Okay,
and also if we could talk more about those sell-offs. If not, I'd like to at least give an attempt at a conservative Dateline,
let's do it.
since we don't have any conservatives here,
Let's do it.
and I'd love for you guys to join. So, firstly, Trump's more popular than ever among his base. There are two reports, one coming out of Town Hall, one coming out of Fox News. Among conservatives, he has actually gained 1.25 points of approval since he took office. So, even though the people on the left may be disliking some of his actions, among his core supporters, they are liking what is happening. Up next, U.S. aid is all but dead. It appears that they have successfully gutted this foreign aid, and it will not be coming back. Additionally, Trump has announced that a Taiwanese semiconductor manufacturer, TSMC, is going to invest $100 billion directly into U.S. companies and to make the coveted 2 nanometer chips, which are currently only produced in Taiwan, and one of the reasons that China wants to invade Taiwan. They have announced that they are going to invest here and that they are going to potentially even make those very high end chips here on America's soil. And lastly, I want to say that there's one other thing that has happened since these tariffs were announced. Honda has announced that it is moving its Civic production from Mexico back to the
right.
United States in
That's
Indiana.
right.
So,
That's right.
and we might see other car
To do
makers
what? To do
follow
what,
this.
Skald? Just go ahead and say to avoid 25% tariff.
100%, Grant. You are right on that. And well, I guess Grant could finish the conservative dateline if you want. I'm just trying to give you guys a fair shake here. But there are many automotive
So guess
manufacturers,
what?
and
Guess what? There won't be any inflation on that because basically the tariffs did exactly what they were supposed to do. Unlike what you guys propagandized what they would do, which is not what they did do, which is make Hondas fucking in America where they should be made, and there won't be any jobs, and it'll save you money. So bitches, go buy a Honda. And Jonathan,
and
by the way, you got to get a different backdrop. Since we're saving money, Jonathan, once you get a different backdrop, maybe the people over at Chatter can buy you a fucking screensaver or something, so I don't have to look at that fucking background you got.
Yeah. Well, Grant, I do have a different backdrop. I'm redoing my studio. There you go.
Well,
All
until
right.
then, dude, once you get you a fucking
Now,
green screen, bitch.
green screen. That's not a bad idea. I do have a green screen, Grant. I already have
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
and one
Once you
thing
do something, act like a goddamn professional.
I am a
What's
professional.
that little? What's that little thing in the fucking corner above your head up there? It looks like a little rat trap.
It is. That's exactly
Motion
what it is.
detector for security.
It's a rat track, Grant. That's what it
Rats,
is.
rats don't fly, Grant. Just so
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
one
Absolutely.
last piece of the conservative dateline, and I land. I just wanted to clarify that the cybersecurity stand down is for offensive operations by U.S. Cyber Command only against Russia. Having had a cybersecurity business, I'll tell you this is sticky, right? Because sometimes the line between defensive and offensive gets a little blurry. But basically, CISA, which you were right, Tirah, CISA's board of directors was stripped, but that was a civilian board. CISA's employees that actually do the cybersecurity, as far as I know, there have been no actual cuts there. And they are saying they're still on a defensive posture and still advising people to be on a defensive posture against Russia, and US Cyber Command still has a defensive posture. We just won't be proactively hacking their systems to see what they're doing against us, right? So, really, it's saying we're going to trust you're not going to attack us, and maybe we were keeping an eye on you by hacking you, and we're not going to do that anymore. So, I just wanted to, in the liberal media, they're saying that it's like we're going to let Russian cyber criminals just go all over the place. That's not exactly it, right? We're just no longer doing attacks against Russia to figure out what they're doing before they do it. And I land there with my attempt at a conservative dateline.
About 130 of CISA employees were let go back in early February, I believe. I don't know if additional ones have been let go since then, but they only had 3,000 employees, so it's what 3%, something like that.
Yeah. So no, guys, listen to me. No one ever said that the defensive. We said offensive. We made sure we said offensive. We never said shut it down completely. So I appreciate that dateline. It was actually pretty insightful to know that people that he's quote unquote popular. But once again, he's not popular amongst the federal employees. A lot of those people voted for him. He's not popular in
Into
he's not popular in
background.
Ohio. I mean, not Ohio, North Carolina, right there in the triangle in North Carolina. Right now, they've lost, they lost thousands and thousands of jobs.
Wow, wow.
Yep, absolutely. Because of the USA shutdown. And
No,
that's
not because
Riley, that's Durham,
not
and that's Riley, Durham, and Chapel Hill. Right there in that area, that triangle, they lost a ton of jobs. And that's a red state.
a ton. How much is a ton?
Grant, I think it's like 2,500. I gotta look it up. I gotta look at it again. I had it in my head, but I went somewhere else. I keep this stuff up here for the most part, but I'll look it up. But yeah, absolutely, Grant. They have, okay, and it's affecting them. So, and that's North Carolina, which is a red state, Grant. So, um, Trump right now is hitting everyone across the board. It's voters as well as uh, the liberals and the Democrats. He's going across the board. So, yeah, I think that it's pretty fair to say that a lot of people, you say he's pretty popular. His popularity have
Donald
waned.
Trump is the greatest president we have ever had.
All right, Grant. Like I
Donald
said,
Trump is greater than God.
okay, Grant.
Oh
Like
my
I said,
God! Hey, Jonathan, can I? Jonathan,
Can I?
Jerry. Donald Trump is your god, right, Jerry?
Hey, Jonathan.
Y'all
Hey,
going too far now.
Jonathan. This is important. I got to
You're a
say something
sick
important. My
motherfucker.
mother wants to say hi to Jonathan Bing and Grant Cardone. Mom, that's my small partner, Jonathan Bing.
Hi, Jonathan.
Hey, how you doing, Miss Malcolm?
I'm wonderful.
And say Grant Cardone, say hi to my mother.
Hey, mama, Jerry, mama, what up, baby? She's known me for a long time, by the way, Jerry. Before you were around, you and my mama, we mixed it up.
Then why did you slam your door in his face?
We went crazy, didn't we, baby?
Oh, okay, Grant.
You
Okay.
stupid as shit.
Hey, Jonathan.
Jonathan.
I'm sorry. Hey,
Nasty
I
work.
love you, Mr. Bing, and I love you, Mr. Cardone. I'm visiting my mama. I'm sorry to mess up the show.
Your
All right,
mama,
bye-bye.
bro, back in the day was a wild woman.
Grant.
Yo, this guy's crazy, bro.
Mom,
She gonna spank your ass.
Mom, he
First,
said back in the
first the
day, you a
blasphemy,
wild one.
then the
Okay, Grant.
disrespect.
All right,
Grant,
Mr.
did you
Bing.
see Robert De Niro on the Academy Awards last night? Did you see Robert De Niro? Yeah, he ain't see that shit. Did you see Eminem 2 nights ago? Yeah, the white boy's going in on Donald Trump, man. Robert De Niro said, "Fuck Donald Trump" in the middle of the Academy Awards,
No,
man.
he didn't. That was from the Tony Awards. You're wrong.
And we
He
don't watch
didn't.
Okay,
trash.
well,
Yeah,
it was
bro,
some
bro.
fancy
You
white
don't even know
man.
what
My
you're
fault,
watching,
Tara.
bro. You don't even know what you're watching, bro.
So wait,
Whatever. He
so
did that shit. He
that
did
was the
it.
Tony Awards, not the Oscars.
I said
Okay.
that was the Tony Awards, not the Oscars.
Hey,
Wow.
I'll
Dude,
take
get the
whatever
details
award
right.
show. For him to be on that platform and stick his chest out like that, good
Oh my
shit.
god, dude, he a punk.
Yeah, Robert De Niro will
Yeah,
whoop
bro.
your
Have you been
ass
in a
for
movie
you.
with Robert De Niro, bro? Have you been in a movie with Robert De Niro?
Did you see American Gangster,
No,
Grant?
no. Have you been in a movie with Robert De Niro?
Did you
Have you,
see
Grant?
American
Have
Have you,
Yes,
Gangster?
you?
Grant?
I have.
You
Okay, which
have?
Well,
one?
who
Okay.
gives a
You remember
damn?
that line? You remember that
No,
line,
no,
Look it
no,
Bing?
no,
up,
no, no.
bitch. Look
One
up
second, one
Grant
second.
Cardone and Robert De Niro.
You remember that line, Bing?
Look
Shoot
it
The
it.
up,
loudest one
son.
in the room is the
Jerry,
Shooters,
weakest one in the
shooters.
Jerry.
room.
Hey, Jerry.
No, Jerry's gone.
He's gone.
Yeah, he stepped in and stepped out.
I wanted to call him my son.
He's
Grant had a very small role, I should point out, in a movie that Robert De Niro was in.
Bigger than any role you had.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Savage
You were.
Salvation, certainly well known among people who love
Grant, what was it? What
Nero's
movie? First of all,
oeuvre.
what movie was that, Grant?
Bigger than any role you had, baby.
Grant, what movie was that? We all want to know actually.
Savage Salvation.
That's right. I was the paramedic.
You a paramedic, Grant?
Tira, I understand. They audition you for a prostitute, but they turn you down.
Nah, Grant, we can't do that, Grant.
Nasty work.
We can't do that. We can't do that,
Nasty.
Grant. No, we can't do that, Grant. No, we
Notice
can't do
the
that.
only one laughing is Grant because it sounds like, Grant, have you been drinking?
Oh
Because
my
you
god!
sound a
But I
little
gotta move.
weird.
Grant's been
Wow.
drinking.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I love you, Tira.
All right.
Jonathan,
Yes, sir.
get a
Yes, sir.
different backdrop, dude.
I will. I will. All right. So anyway, yeah, this is actually quick, Grant. While I'm
Hey,
getting
why do
my,
you protect your liberals?
I don't protect liberals, Grant. What I do is I make sure that everyone feels comfortable here, liberals and conservatives.
You want everybody to feel safe.
No, I want them to feel comfortable enough to participate.
Do they know you at Celebrity Center, Grant? Do they know you there? They know me. Do they know you
Okay,
there?
okay. Look, guys, look. All right, we're getting back to it. So anyway, guys, here it is. So he paused the military aid and major market drop is what we have here. That's what we're speaking about today. Listen to me, Grant. Your boy paused the military aid. There's no reason for him to have paused the military aid, none whatsoever. So with that being said, Grant, what's going on? I mean, everything he's done has helped Putin. How come Putin has gotten not one admonishment? And I don't understand that. We're much stronger and much more mightier than Russia. Russia, Russia is no not even on our level, near our level. Hell, we Ukraine beat them with our old equipment. Why hasn't Putin been called to the carpet on anything? Anything, Grant? All right, there you go. No answer. But once again,
Well, Jonathan, if I could say, it could be looked like he's helping Putin, but it can also be looked like he's effing
Zelensky and pulling back the aid could be a power move on Trump. We may not agree with that tactic. We may say that's hoodlum shit, that's gangster shit. We don't play like that here. This is America. But it could be a power move because whoever comes to Zelensky's aid, if the entire EU bands together, they're still going to need the United States.
Yep. And Macron had his emergency meeting nobody's paying attention to right after Trump cut everybody out of his talks with Zelensky. You're on point, Mr. Coach.
Yeah, so Jonathan, I don't know what I don't know, but
Clinton.
in the hood, that would be a power move. We're gonna take away whatever that excuse my language guy needs, and we're gonna have him under our thumb. I don't know if that's what he's doing, but it could be.
And war
Okay.
is profitable.
Okay.
Who's his
Here's the deal.
buddies?
So here's the deal, Coach. I respect what you're saying, but Putin is the aggressor. All right, Putin's the aggressor. We have an agreement. We have a memorandum, the Budapest Memorandum, where we offer security assurances. The security assurances that he's seeking right now from the United States, we already promised that. All right, back in '94, I believe. All right, during the Budapest Memorandum. Up top, folks, is the Budapest Memorandum. I'll put that up top there. If you look at it, the second, third line, it shows that um, we guarantee security assurances if they were to give up their nuclear weapons. And there's three countries, okay, and former Soviet Union countries. It was Belarus, it was Kazakhstan, and it was Ukraine. And so those three are signatures on there. Also, the United States, Russia, France, and England. And the UK. The UK. They also were signatories on that, where they promised to give up. Where they promised if they stop with the nuclear proliferation, give these missiles back, the nuclear arms back, are destroyed, that they would actually protect them. So when people are saying that Ukraine is asking for something that's like ridiculous, it's not ridiculous. It's what we agreed to. It's how we got them to give up the nukes to begin with.
Yeah, but
So
Jonathan, I didn't say anything about that
yeah, but
Belarus
what I'm saying to
agreement.
you is, what you're saying is, you're saying take the victim, okay, and make the victim drop her case, okay, victim, or drop his case, her case, or whatever. That's what you're saying. Take the victim and force them, put them under your thumb, and your words literally was under your thumb,
Under your thumb, yes.
okay,
Crush them.
you crushing the victim. Do you guys agree with that? Anyone agree with crushing the victim? Yes, say yes. Anyone?
What I'm saying, my point, what I
Yeah,
agree with.
Ali. I asked the question. Anyone agrees with crushing the victim? Okay, so
Yes,
no.
Who's
yes.
the victim?
Okay, Carlos, go. Let's go, Carlos. Was that Carlos that said yes? Look, here's the deal.
No, it wasn't Carlos.
Okay, it wasn't all right because I want to know who was that was saying yes because you don't crush the victim. All right, they're in this situation partially because we allowed it. Okay, in 2014 when Putin came into Crimea, guess what? We should have we should have acted or we should have done something, but we didn't. Obama wasn't strong in that regards. I'm sorry. I understand a lot of you guys like Obama. He wasn't strong in that regards. So, with that being said, I'll say this right here. Obama dropped the ball. We had obligations back in 2014. And I guess when they signed the Budapest Memorandum, they didn't think that one of the signatories were going to be the aggressive party. All right, and so that's probably a failure to think. But once again, we have an obligation to provide security assurances. And after 2014, in the Donbass region, there were a lot of skirmishes to try to take the Donbass, going back and forth from 2014 to 2022. And when he said screw it, I'm coming in and taking the whole country. And he thought he was going to be able to do it in a matter of days. And he hasn't. So these people have been fighting violently for 3 years. And now, you guys are saying, give it up. It's time for him to give it up. Guys, that's a win for us, the United States. So with that being said, anyone who wants to jump in, like I said, we have this thing open.
I just have
Go ahead,
I
man.
just have I just have a comment. I live in the state of Florida, so and I'm on calls with the Center for Renewing America, and I listen to some of the calls. But when I think about what happened in the office in the meeting, and the fact that we were actually taking on a lot of the financial responsibility and sending a lot of a lot of materials and support over there, what we saw in 24 hours was 13 different countries come together and say, we're all going to step up now and we're going to support, which you use victim, right? So sometimes when we look at the victim and people look upon the victim and say, well, we got to go help them. And so what we've seen is that they basically stated, we're going to support until the actual war ends or till we can have some type of, agreement to stop the war. So, I mean, however we want to look at it, whether you agree or don't agree, America was putting a lot of money into the war. And now, where they probably should have been stepping up a little bit more from the beginning, I think previous administrations did not push back enough to require more help because look what they done in 24 hours. They actually stood up. I don't know if Trump could have went to them first and said, okay, what could you do before I pull out? And see if they would have stepped up a little bit more. But they're basically saying that we're going to give you the funding that you require in order for you to be able to sustain yourself against Russia until the fighting stops. So I don't know what anybody thinks about that. But
If I could
I
chime in
mean,
real quick.
But here's the thing. Can I respond to some of that?
Go ahead, 10.
Yeah, yeah. The deal is this: the people them they were stepping up, as a percentage of their budget. They were doing what they were supposed to do. The United States went a little extra mile, right? As a percentage of our budget. No, but so what happened now? What happened now? Everybody realized that what the United States was doing was enough, right? Given the situation. So them don't really have to they don't really have to overextend themselves. Now what is happening now, they are they are marginalizing their national security to try to help this country, right? The United States was not marginalizing their national security. The United States had the money, right? It is important to push back against Putin at all odds, all costs. You have to push back against that. You do not want the proliferation of this kind of dictatorship, right? So what these countries have done now is they put their neck out there on the block right now because the United States has stepped back. They never had to. Everything was everything that was being done was enough. But now they are compromising themselves to protect this country because they know if they don't do it, it's going to be worse. You understand me? So
no, I
it's not
agree
like
with you. I don't disagree with you.
but last thing I'm gonna say is this. It's not like say what Trump is doing by pulling back is the reason why they stepped up. They stepped up because the world, everything is at stake. The world is at stake here. You understand me? And the United States doesn't give a darn. And that's the problem. Thank you.
I agree. I agree. Anyone else wants to add to that?
I
Sure.
agree.
This
That's
is
a good.
Luis.
That's all
Go,
woo.
Caleb.
That's a good.
Luis.
That's
Let's
all
go.
woo.
Caleb, then Luis.
So, just for a point of
He said that's it.
clarification, the U.S. only made up about 45% of the money given to Ukraine. And out of that quote unquote money given to Ukraine, all of it was on a store credit card. That money could only be spent in the U.S. using U.S.'s outdated technology and outdated equipment. We didn't do them no favors. besides allowing them to shop at our store, using our money to give right back to us, while the rest of the countries in the UK and otherwise actually front loaded a majority of the bill, contrary to the propaganda that we're being told in this country. So just wanted to throw that in with the clarification.
And you agree war is profitable, right,
Hey, Ali,
Luis?
Ali, Ali, I already have a lineup. Let's not do that. Okay, please do not jump in again like that, please. Go ahead, Caleb. Like I said, Caleb, you're next. Let's go.
I think what US is doing is just what, let's finish with that war. Let get it done. A lot of people are dying, Oh, I think all US want is finish with that, and we don't lost more life. Let people live, US want Ukraine to understand. Let's do it for the good of human being. We don't want more life go away. Let's just end this war. That's all US is asking them to do.
What you,
Nothing else. It's not so hard.
what you, big man? What are you talking about? Listen again. The U.S. wants the Ukraine to put their guns and their arms down. You know what that means? That means Putin takes them over completely, takes over their country. The war doesn't end, okay? The people would have lost their sovereignty and they would have probably lost more lives as those soldiers will come over their borders and rape their women and kill their children. You understand me? So this nonsense. I can't believe you guys listen when Trump says, "Hey, I want to stop. I want to end the war." He that is saying that is literally telling Zelensky that give up your country. That is what those words mean. Are you guys not listening? This is not Zelensky's war to end. This is Putin's war to end. You understand me? If Zelensky sit back and fold his arms right now, Russia will invade them and finish them. So the only person who can stop this war is Putin right now. And Trump is
Boom.
going to let him continue to destroy this country for no reason. No reason at all. And at the same time, you know what Trump is doing? He's destroying this country in the meantime. You think you're not going to get you are not going to get your social security
Jeff.
checks
Somebody grab one second. Jeff, guys, mute Jeff, please. Go ahead,
what
Jeff. Mute Jeff. Go ahead,
so
10.
what I'm going to say is you're not going to get your social security checks. You're not going to get your social security checks in 3 months. You know that, right? So whoever depends on social security in that room here right now, let me tell you something. You're not going to get no money. Right now, Trump is destroying that. Where's that money going? And by the way, let me just say this one last thing, and I'm done here. Every single thing that Trump has done, USAID, release Epstein papers, all of these things were based on propaganda. They have yielded no results. No results. Deep state. There was supposed to be a deep state. Where is the deep state? There was none. It was all a lie. It was all propaganda. Zelensky started the war. He's a dictator. That's a lie. Every single thing that was sold to you on right-wing media has turned out to be a lie. And you guys, anyway, we're done. We're gonna.
Jeff, you want to jump in, Jeff?
It was a
Yeah, I
lie.
just want to say, wait, really quick.
Right.
Thank you, Jonathan.
No problem.
Trump was right about everything. That's all I want to say, man. At the end of the day, listen, I hear the brother. I love your energy. I agree. I agree that you believe what you believe. However, man, dude, like Trump, man, he's more the negotiator. It's really sad that it's leading to this where it's at. When you said he's not draining the deep state, I'll just say this: the fact that they created something, they hired the smartest guy in the world to then go do the Dodge thing. And we're finding so much like this is actually getting down the deep state. All this money spending, and then if you go watch the podcast with Lindsay Lee, and she exposes she's exposing everything that's in the DNC right now. I think I'm losing service here, so
No, keep going, keep
that's
going.
all
I
I gotta
mean,
say.
no, we hear you. We hear you fine. So what do you
No,
mean he's
dude, that's
fine?
the first time someone told me to keep going.
No, this you're
But
fine because I want to. All right.
My
Something.
brother, it's all a lie, my brother.
my
Okay.
brother, it's not a
Yeah.
lie. What's a lie? Tell me what part's a lie.
It's a lie.
No,
It is
one
a
second.
lie.
One second, guys. No, we're not doing that. So anyway, Jeremy, what do you want to do? You want to jump in on it?
Let Jeremy get it.
Time that yeah, I think it's time that we've
Go.
had a great president come out and do great shit and kick ass and
Let's
take names, and
be.
he's cleaning shit up because it's a fucking mess. It is a mess. It's a mess, and I think he's doing a great job. I don't know why everybody hating on poor Trump. It's like the guy's just out here trying to do his job, and everybody's got a problem. It's like, how long has he been in office? Like what, a month, maybe? They're like, he's not doing enough. He's a liar. What the fuck? He's the
10, you want
dude.
to respond? 10, are you there? 10, you want to respond? 10 going twice.
Now
All
you
right.
I'd
know
like
when
to
to come to the
respond
mic
to
and
the
leave.
Doge comments
Go,
about
go, Ted.
Jeff.
Yeah, go ahead, Ted.
I want
So I think
go
the
ahead.
problem, Jeff, is what you probably haven't been reading about is that the Doge website is riddled with inaccuracies. The first one that was found was, for example, they said they canceled a contract for 8 billion. Turned out it was 8 million, which is a pretty significant differential. Moreover, they have basically claimed billions of dollars in savings from canceling contracts that were already canceled. Okay? So they weren't yet, they weren't real contracts. They had gone away like 2 or 3 years ago, but they put those down as canceled contracts that we saved money on, even though they weren't valid contracts. Moreover, what they've also done is claim savings if a contract was for 5 years and it was basically had, just 1 year left, they would claim that they saved the entire value of the contract. Finally, what they did is a lot of these contracts have an upper limit, but they have never expended anywhere near the upper limit. So, for example, if you had a contract which was for upper limit of $8 million, but you only expended 42,000 a year, what Doge would put down is that they have saved like $7 million or something like that. So, if you look at the website, you will see, and it's been reported all over, not just the Times, but on X, all over the place. And Doge keeps correcting its website. So, those savings that you think are so incredibly strong are not really strong because the Doge guys don't understand federal financing, contract law, anything like that. They just seem to be picking up contracts and saying, oh, this must exist, so we're just going to put it in there. And that's a problem because they're
Chair,
not
can I ask you a
saving the money
question?
they say. Sure.
Sure. Wait,
Okay,
I want to just
hold on, hold on. Let me finish
go
asking
ahead.
the chair one
Well,
question.
Jeremy, you're gonna be don't be disrespectful to Tara though. I was gonna respect.
She literally said, "Go ahead." What are you talking about?
All right, go ahead, Jeremy.
Thank you, Tara. So let's just say there's inconsistency in what you're saying with Doge, right? Would you say they found more that are consistent than inconsistent? Is a question. The money that they found, right, that is being overspent, would you say they found more money in their findings that is consistent rather than inconsistency?
So what I would say is a lot of what they're
No, no,
doing.
it's just a yes or
No, no,
no.
no, no, no. It's not a yes or no. That I'm not going to
It's a
answer.
hundred
No, no.
percent a
No,
yes or
it's not,
no.
Jeremy. You can't tell me how to answer your question. You can ask it, and then
Okay,
I get to answer it.
go
Okay. So
ahead.
number one, what has happened is Elon Musk is touting these were all illegal, fraudulent, etc., but they weren't. These were contracts that Congress basically approved in most cases. Now, you can say these are terrible contracts. We should never have gone into this. We shouldn't be doing all those horrible things. And that's fair. And to that extent, I think it's good that people look into every contract because I think that's not a bad idea. Although I should point out that all these agencies are audited regularly. But to the extent that he's literally listing them as fraud, illegal, etc., and fudging the numbers completely because he either doesn't understand or doesn't care, that is problematic to me because
Well,
this guy
all I'm
has,
asking is he saving more money
I
than the
can't,
inconsistency he's
well,
finding?
I can't tell because Congress will now have to come up with a budget, right? He hasn't saved a nickel right now. He's not actually canceling anything. Congress is
So
going to come up with
everything.
a budget. You don't understand. If Congress then approves all these contracts again or more money for different contracts, then no, nothing's been saved.
So everything he's found. So just want to make sure I'm on the same page. So the inconsistencies outweigh the consistency.
Thank you, Jeremy.
But what I'm
Yeah,
saying,
I'm just
Jeremy, is
asking. No. I'm
no.
just
It's a
asking.
lot more nuanced than what
How
you're
come
trying
no
to
one can just
suggest.
answer a?
Because you're not, because your question requires actually more of an answer than you seem to think it does, because you don't
I don't think
understand
so.
complexities.
Yeah,
Listen, the
Tara.
thing is, what I'm saying to you is fair to say we're going to cancel this, but has he actually canceled them? Because in most of the court cases, a lot of those contracts are still going to be paid out because the judges have paused the federal funding freezes. So what does
Facts.
he say? What I'm saying, it's good to come up with contracts and to say we should never fund this again. That's fair. And probably there are many of them that we shouldn't, because there's a lot of crappy waste in the government and there's a lot of stupid contracts. But when you say I've saved this money, as if you canceled things which the government, which the judges have not allowed you to cancel, that becomes a little weird to me, because he hasn't actually been able to cancel most of these things. So has he come up with some savings? Sure. I'm sure there are some contracts that are not going forward. But at the end of the day, it's so much less. And what else is he doing? He's reaping havoc within these agencies. He's firing people without actually assessing whether they are needed or not. To me, that's stupid business. If you went into a business, a real business, not a crypto business, but a real business, and you sort of said, we're just going to fire these 100 people. We don't care what their performance reviews. We don't care if we need them.
Tira.
You would
Hey,
not,
Tira.
it's
You know,
not a
Tara,
good
my,
way to
my
Hey,
run a
Tira.
neighbor,
business.
my neighbor
It,
bought his $40
Hey,
million
Tira.
house off Dogecoin. My neighbor.
have to do with anything.
Hey, Tira.
My neighbor bought a $40 million house with Dogecoin. I shit you
That
not.
is literally nothing to do with anything.
Hey,
I have not
Tira.
said
You said it's
anything
not
about
a real
Elon Musk's
business.
business.
Hey,
No, what
Tira.
I said, I did. Okay,
Hey,
fine.
Tira.
Well,
Hey,
what's the question?
Tira.
What's the question, Grant? What's the question?
Tira. Have you
Okay,
ever hired even one person?
Actually, yes, I have, Grant, but I don't care to go into what I've done in the past. But yes, I have.
Okay. And how recently have you hired one person?
I am not going in. You know that you can't
Okay,
get me to
that means
discuss details.
you should sit down on your ass and not have a conversation about this.
Grant.
Yeah.
Now, once again, Grant,
Hey,
because
Jonathan,
I
how
think he's
about
pointing out that
you,
she's never
Grant,
built
Jonathan?
you
I
a
have
can't,
a
You
business.
also
question.
sit
Grant, you can try to
down.
bullshit with me, Grant. Okay,
I
I'll try
have
to
a
whatever, bro.
bullshit
question,
with
Fuck out of
Jonathan.
here, bro.
yeah.
Hey, Jonathan.
Hey,
I
I
don't
think
have
be
a
he's
trying to
question,
stating that she's
bullshit,
never
Jonathan.
built a
Jonathan.
business, is what
I
it
have a
sounds
Uh,
like.
question,
Don't
Jonathan.
be trying to
Let me
belay
go,
me,
go ahead,
Can
coach.
I
Go ahead,
just
Jonathan.
coach. Go ahead,
respond to
coach.
Tara's
So
question?
I have a question, and this is I've been a conservative for years, and it's not.
I have too.
So the fact of the matter is what I'm saying is there's a lot of people that support it, but there are a lot of people questioning what's being cut. It was reported though that because the judges, the federal courts have paused a lot of things, the savings really they had to remove stuff off of the site because the savings isn't what they say it is anymore because they have to move forward with the contract. But for those of you who are businesses, and I've owned businesses, owned several Family Dollar stores in Florida, and so my
Family Dollar
question,
killing it.
my question is, this is just a question for anyone. If we're cutting money, but the person cutting the money, right, is getting extra hundreds and millions dollars in contracts, like some of the citizens who voted for Trump are saying, okay, if we're cutting money and finding the discrepancies or fraud or whatever we want to call it, and we all know there's a lot of misspending in the actual military budgets, but the problem is like people are concerned, like after they're cutting, we're seeing added money that's going for Elon and his companies. So
Wake it
that's a lot of
up.
the conversation right now.
I have a question.
Yeah. So
For
wait,
the Family Dollars that you have, how many of those
Oh, come
stores
on,
are survived by people who are
Jeremy.
on welfare?
Okay, but Jeremy, that's not what we're talking about right now.
I'm not going to
yeah,
have a
Yeah,
Okay,
conversation with
JB.
you about
look,
welfare. I'm just asked the question.
yeah.
That's
JB, I
all.
got a
I'm
question.
Can I
just
ask a
saying,
question?
like,
How much
that's
money
the
does
that's the
Elon
concern
Musk
of
get
the
Can
in
I?
people.
Yeah,
If
that
contracts?
is.
someone's cutting money and then
750
they're getting the contract,
million a
Well, I
then
was
day?
just saying you're making a lot of money off the government, aren't you?
JB, I got a
no, I
question
don't
on the
get any
topic.
money from the government,
Well, if
sir.
you own Family Dollar stores and all the government
I don't
money that
get
can
any
flow through
money from
there,
the government at all.
JB,
Directly, none.
Or Jeremy, that's a moot point here. Listen,
Not
JB,
one.
she's saying, Coach.
Period.
What you're saying is you're worried that when Elon is saving all his money and all his little young guys are dodged and they're doing the contracts how they are, that his businesses are growing and the money's going back to him. Is that what you're saying?
He's getting
That's but a lot of
750
people are
million a
having this
day.
conversation.
Yeah.
I'm just posing a question because we're in a conversation,
So let me
right?
just tell you this. Yeah, Elon Musk is probably the best business owner of all time, and has done what every entrepreneur wants to do: start three businesses with all his money, and we all daydream to do that with all as unfocused as many of us
So
are.
he's gonna
He's done it. He's
Neuralink all
literally
of
the goat
us.
in
Is that
business
right?
owners. He actually bought a failing company, Twitter, that fired everybody. So Tirah, when you were there, fired everybody that they didn't need. Same thing, and Twitter's still alive and got devalued for what it's at now, and it's still going on. And X is going there. It's not profitable yet, but it's like
Yeah,
it's
but it's
going to.
still not profitable. We still
No, it's not
overpaid
profitable,
for
but
it.
it's still
Yeah.
alive, and it'll be fine. But here's the thing: my point in saying this is,
Neither is Uber.
I would listen. I'm going to finish this really quick. I would rather have Elon Musk, arguably one of the smartest people around this, whether or not they're embellishing how much money they don't understand government contracts in there, and that might happen. The fact that we're looking in it, and Tirah, I would love for you to be there checking with you and Elon working together, and you checking it, and having somebody with your critical eye on this. Okay, I really would. Like if I was building this, I would have someone with you, and maybe not so many young kids, and have somebody from a different side. However, as there's human beings, there'll always be corruption. As everybody, Elon and Trump both have the hero complex where they want to save the world, clearly, right? So they might embellish some stuff, but at the end of the day, we're doing what's right for America. Elon Musk's business are gonna grow. He's a business owner anyway. He hasn't failed this way. He's the richest man in the world, or he's up there with it. I don't know where he's at right now. I don't really take eye on that, but like, so they're going to grow. So I wouldn't worry about that. We have the right guys doing it. Like I couldn't do this better if I ran for president. You know.
And when we want the best business people in the entire world dealing, like I don't understand. Like he's literally top three best businessman in the world. Like actually,
May I
it's
point
like
out
between
something?
him, the guy
JB.
who.
Yeah, I'm
Go
trying to
ahead.
bring it back. I want to bring it back. You said it. You land, Jeremy.
No,
No,
I would like to
No,
point
no,
out.
he
Go ahead.
didn't
yeah, one
land. I was
second,
going to
guys.
ask
Shake,
him a
Shake was
question.
waiting.
Jeremy,
One
who's
mic,
top three, Jeremy?
one mic,
top
guys.
three is I would
One mic.
say
I said one mic,
Jeremy,
please.
am I on that list? Go
top
ahead,
three
top
is
three,
I'm on that
Jeremy.
I
Who's
list.
want to hear
So
that. I
I'm
want to
on
hear
that
that.
list.
I definitely want to
top.
hear
I'll
that.
be on that
No,
list.
he knows that. Top three: Elon Musk. I would say Jeff Bezos, and
Jeff
then
the
the
entrepreneur.
new guy who's selling all the chips for OpenAI. But I believe Sam Altman will beat out all of them at the end of the day. To be
The
honest with you,
government is not a business.
what do you mean the government is not a business?
Government is a business.
See,
But what's your
that's
point, one way or the other, though? Whether it is or it isn't, what's that got to do with this?
And point of order, Uber is making money. Someone said Uber's not making money. I'm
Yeah.
up 100% on my Uber calls. They have a 16.6 PE ratio and their discounted
Skull,
cash flow.
Skull. Most of this room, 99% of this room doesn't know what a fucking call is.
Okay, sorry. I'll
yeah.
stop.
They,
I do.
they have they have no
No, that's
idea what
not
you're
true,
talking
Grant.
about.
That's not true, Grant.
Really, what's a
That is
call?
true. That is true.
Let's ask the
They
people.
wouldn't know what a call is unless they
No,
look it
okay.
up.
No,
And
no,
then they
no, guys.
still,
But first of all,
then 75% of the
I know,
99
but Grant,
still
the people
wouldn't
in
know
this
what a
room aren't
call
here to
is.
be insulted. The people
A
in this room
stock
aren't
is
here.
increasing in value.
Yeah.
A
I'm not
call.
insulting anyone. How
All I'm
can I
saying
insult
is it
someone with
took.
the truth, Jonathan?
Okay.
All I was
So,
simply stating is
Jonathan,
it
if
took
I call a
Uber.
man, if I say a blind man is blind, did I insult him?
Grant, yeah, no, but
Not if
Okay.
he's black.
If I say that
if
your
he,
background sucks and it's true, did I insult you?
Grant, you're trying to be, but hey, I'm
No,
cool.
because I'm
I
your
rock
friend,
where I
Jonathan.
rock.
I'm your
I
friend.
rock.
I'm your friend,
So
Jonathan.
anyway,
So how can I insult
He
my
was
friend?
talking. He was talking about me. I don't know what it means. So
If I say
so
to Jeremy, Jeremy is a fucking dumbass, and it's true, can I insult
No.
him?
yeah.
If it's
No.
true, no.
Shake
God
this,
damn.
That's
shake,
that's
shake.
We
what you
don't
So,
said.
want
so,
we don't want the richest man in the world in charge of our government.
why
Yeah,
Yeah,
not?
you're
The
right. You're
government
right
okay.
because
is supposed to
We
they
be
give
don't
us
want
as
the
many
richest
food
man in the
stamps.
world in charge of our government, right? We was trying to get away from oligarchs and plutocrats. That's why people started this country.
Well, I don't know what sounded like a pastrami sandwich. I don't know what
Yeah,
was
and you
that.
you know
sound
what
like an
oligarch
idiot
is?
because you got to bring up some idiot shit just to fuck up the conversation.
Sorry, I
But
don't
what we're
listen to hip
saying
hop.
is we don't want the richest man in the world in charge of our government and telling us what is efficiency.
Sorry, I don't
government
listen
for
to hip hop.
security,
But
businesses for
DaGod,
making
DaGod,
money.
wouldn't
Oligarch isn't hip hop, bro. Oligarch isn't
I
hip hop.
know. I'm just being a smartass,
DaGod,
obviously.
DaGod, I understand
You're
your
not being
point.
smart. You are being an ass. So I guess one out of
It's
two is
okay to the
fine.
woman who's never had a business her
So
entire life,
actually,
ever.
I have my own business, which you don't know, but
Jeremy,
fine.
Jeremy,
All right, guys, real quick, guys. We're gonna get back to it. I think Shake was waiting to speak, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna let Shake speak. Shake, go ahead.
Can
You're
I
up.
just, is Jeff still there? Because I
Yeah,
wanted
go
to
ahead. Go
ask.
ahead.
I am here.
Yeah.
I'm about to leave.
Okay,
Because
so
she's gonna
Jeff, let
catch
me
a
just
nosebleed.
Jeff, let me just ask you something. Do you think it's appropriate for a guy who has billions of dollars in governmental contracts to be auditing agencies which he has billions of dollars of contracts with, like NASA and stuff like that?
Yes,
And to
yes.
begin, I didn't ask you, Grant. I asked Jeff.
I'm answering for Jeff.
You,
I'm
Jeff
gonna
actually
ask.
can answer for
I'm gonna
himself.
answer with. Why don't you think it's okay, Tara?
Because it's clearly a conflict of interest
Because
because he
she's
is
broke.
not because he has not identified any of his own contracts that are problematic. And in fact, what we heard, and we can't verify exactly what's going on now, right now, is that he just canceled or he's trying to get out of a Verizon contract and put in a contract for Starlink in its place. So do you not see that
Right.
there's
Yeah.
certain conflicts there?
So Tara, let me just answer it this way. I see where you're coming. I totally agree with your point. However, it is wrong in the context of where we're at as America, where the deficit is at. We need somebody who actually can look at it that way. And by the way, everybody's going to be self-interested. Like everybody, like the DNC is all corrupt, and you can go look at how they were spending their money on so much crazy stuff that was crazy and hotels and everything like that. Listen, if all human beings, where we're at, corporations, when they're in, this is why they change it, get corrupt. I'm not saying that maybe Elon's not doing what not is not for his best interest. Okay, I'll agree with you on that. But he's doing what's best for America right now. We have the smartest guy in the world looking for programs that we know to. I'll take that at the end of the day. And plus, he's putting more jobs for America with all his jobs that he's done. He's actually stimulated the economy. He should get all those government contracts. The fact that Biden gave him such a hard time and gave him such a diss about the whole EV cards, the fact that he was all left, and the fact that when he actually saw the light and was like, man, this is just crazy, came to the side, and now they're literally trying to kill him. He was on Joe Rogan's podcast. You can watch it, saying he was afraid to admit some of the corruption because he actually thinks he will die. And he was joking about it, but he was serious. And the fact that the DNC and a lot of people are ungodly and evil, and the fact that the Clinton list has so many people dead on it is because there's evil. You're not that way, Tara. You're not. You're awesome. I love you. But there's a lot of evil people in it. It's a battle versus ungodly and godly.
You
And not
do
that
understand,
That
Jeff,
not
that
sounds
that
the
the
like a bunch
Clinton,
of bullshit.
not
oh
that
my God,
not
Jeff,
that not that the
yeah, the
Republicans
Clinton
are all
list, you
perfect.
got me. Listen, you do understand that one of the people on the Clinton list was John F. Kennedy Jr., who died in a plane crash that I'm sorry, I shouldn't be laughing, that's terrible, but he died because
Sounds funny to me.
he was piloting a plane in the fog. That was one of the people because she was associated with him. That list is so bizarre. I could make up a list for you of people you know who have died. I mean, that's basically what it was. That's really that's a bridge too far. You should
No,
really
it's not too
rethink
far
that.
for me. That bridge is not
It's
too
really
far for
not.
Well,
You
me.
can
nothing
go
is too
go
far for
watch.
you, Grant.
And by the way, your little chuckle, ha ha ha, doesn't mean it somehow discounts the value of it. I know
Let me ask you something.
you use
Can
that
I
little
ask
gimmick
you,
over and over. You're so
how did
predictable.
Hillary
Excuse
Clinton
me,
kill
excuse me,
JFK Jr.?
excuse
How?
me.
No, no, no.
You
I'm
use your
asking.
little chuckle to somehow discount the value of the conversation. It's so obvious and so predictable. You do it
How
over and
did
over
JFK
every one of your
Jr.
conversations.
How did Hillary Clinton kill JFK Jr.? Please tell me.
There's a whole lineage. You can just of the
Bro.
Clintons and
Jeff,
people who
Jeff,
died.
Yeah, look. Well,
how did
yeah, you know
Hillary
what?
Clinton kill
Tara,
JFK
we're not
Jr.?
gonna. Tara, here's the thing. I don't want to go down there.
Tara, I'll give you
Tara
that
just
one. Then
I,
discounts
I
one.
don't.
your
By
own
the way, I'll
I
give
don't
Yo,
you
want to. I
more
John,
don't
than
want
can
that
you
to.
one.
ask
I
your
could go
guy?
down so many other lists of people.
All right, guys. Look, I said Shake was up. All right. I want to get to Shake. Shake, you've been waiting patiently, man. Go ahead, ask your
I
question,
think
Shake.
all I'm gonna
Good.
do is
Thank you,
start the fight
Jonathan.
over again.
Thank you, Jonathan,
Listen,
for bringing
Shake.
order to this.
Shake. Go ahead,
yeah,
Shake. Let's do it, Shake.
good. So ever since Trump won, there's been two conversations. One in take away the code of
John, can you
personality.
ask your guy to stop
Go ahead, Shake.
I want to
being
hear it
crazy?
from Jeremy.
Shake, go. Let's go.
Despite the Trump hate, it's all about accounting and the dude trying to create peace. That's it. So if you're mad, there's somebody. It doesn't matter who's doing it. You don't get mad at your accountant. You either get a new accountant or get a second accountant to watch the numbers of the first accountant. You don't get mad at somebody's trying to stop a fight. America is not fighting. They're proxy warring against Russia with Ukraine, and they're saying, "Hey, you can't win this war. You're a little dog, and you need our help. Could you please stop because you're taking teenagers off the streets and put them on the front line and
John,
killing."
can you control?
Thank you, Shake.
And
Like
too many
seriously,
people.
How
Cause,
did
No,
cause
no.
I, cause I would
how
like to
did y'all
stop
One,
for.
finally
one
how
mic,
did
one
y'all
mic, one mic,
finally
one
get some
mic. Do not,
intelligence?
please, do not, guys. If someone interrupts someone that's talking, guys, just drop them down, please, because we're not doing that right now. Let's go ahead, Shake, because
This
Shake is
guy's
the
I'm
making
first
not
time
trying to
speaking here.
insult anybody. I'm showing respect.
No,
It's like
I know
it's
you, Shake,
weird.
Shake.
No need
You,
to.
I know you are. Go ahead, go finish your conversation.
What I'm saying is, if you get to the point where you're grabbing teenagers off the streets, walking their dogs to fight a war, you might want to consider peace under any circumstances. I get what you're saying. Yes, Putin is a bully. Great. But this bully has found a way to get 20% of this country, and the only way you can probably stop it is if you come up with some form of peace. If not, it's going to lead us into a skirmish that's going to lead to World War III. Now, back to America. In America, we have severe accounting issues within the government. This is not a myth. This is not make believe. This is not Elon Musk. This is not Trump. This is just a fact.
Thank
My
you,
dad,
Shay.
my dad used to work for the government agency in the 80s. He got away with about $1 million because you got this little 7% within every contract, and they let him work both sides of the contract. He's gone now, so I could tell people this. But the reality of it is that was in the 80s. So imagine what's happening now
Thank you,
in
Shay.
30 years later, where people could work both sides of the contract, where the president was doing dirty deals in Ukraine with his son.
Thank
Like,
you,
I mean,
Shay.
we got to use our brain when we talking
Yeah,
about
Shay.
this. Look, I'm just trying to make a point that if you're mad at accounting and peace, like, listen, I don't like people. Look, if you think about it, they're saying that people, both sides, Russia and Ukraine, 2,000 people are dying in the worst fashion
Thank you, Shay.
humanly possible.
Flavor Flav, chill out, Flav. Go
No,
Hey,
ahead,
what I'm
Flav.
saying is, so
when did chatter start attracting intelligence to the audience?
Go ahead, Flav. Go
what?
ahead,
No,
Flav.
so
Chill out, Flav.
I'm just trying to simplify the argument because I don't get how people are arguing against peace and accountability. It's almost like a immature
it's because they
girlfriend.
brainwash, bro.
It's like having it's like talking to a narcissist. Like, I mean, the left is like talking to narcissism because you're telling me that I don't want you to give me proper accounting because I don't like the accountant. I don't want peace because I think the person that needs peace should fight more, even though they're losing children behind the fight. I dock there. Thank you.
Hey, Jonathan, I want to add something
Go ahead, Doctor.
um,
Go ahead, Wayne.
to
Oh,
Shake's
cross me
point
out
because
there. Fuck out of here. Go ahead, Wayne.
now to Shake's point, it made me think about something. I don't know if this is mere a statement or maybe a more of a question, but you know, we keep
It's a
talking.
bunch of Nazis.
We've heard a lot about Trump and that Trump is in Putin's pocket or whatever. But let's think about this now. We hear about the United States paying so much more into NATO than the other countries. So now, is it possible that Trump is doing a kill two birds with one stone? Meaning, one, we keep talking about him being in Putin's pocket. Is there some negotiations that's going on behind the scenes that we don't know about that he's actually trying to work out the deal? They probably worked something out already where they can end this because we keep talking about Russia um, needing Russia's artillery and their equipment falling apart, and they're still fighting, but the Ukraine is getting so much support from us. So now Trump pulls his card. He has the European Union jumping in. They're paying whatever they need to pay. Are they stepping up to the plate? But also, Trump is behind the scenes again. We keep claiming that he's a Russian puppet or whatever this. What if he is working out a deal to end this? Because both sides, it needs to end, and we need to come to a peaceful resolution. So could that
And
be a case that we don't know that's
one
actually happening?
one more point. The end result is bankruptcy or World War III. Like, this is what I'm saying. If we don't do proper accounting, we will go bankrupt, and this beautiful experiment goes to waste. Or we go to World War III if we can't stop Ukraine from wanting to continually fight a bigger dog. Russia is bigger, more powerful, and eventually will overrun them. So the only option is peace when you can't fight anymore. Why is this such an illogical summation?
Okay, Russia is
Can
losing.
I get in there?
Yeah, one second. Russia currently is losing a Shake. I just want you to know that. Okay,
Dude,
anything
Let-
we
why
do,
is it?
anything.
Losing,
Listen,
winning.
Why
No,
is it?
This, whether they're losing or
whoa.
winning, let me just make my point. Whether they're losing or winning, people are dying on both sides, and it's getting out of hand. It's four
thank
years
you, Shay.
of death, 4 years
3 years.
of people getting blown to bits,
3 years.
four, 3 years of blown to bits. That's too much. And on top of that, we're putting the bill up for this this defense.
Thank you, Shake.
Mind you, wait, hold on, mind you, he suspended elections. He's silencing his opposition and putting kids on the front line. And he refuses to even negotiate at this point. And he's going running around to the other smaller dogs in Europe saying, "Hey, can I come in? Hey, he tapped me on my booty. Can I go get some help from y'all?" They all need us. This is the whole point about American accountability. We send too much money everywhere, and nobody knows where it's going except for the people in the bureaucracy.
And lastly, Jonathan, if Russia, if with the with the European Union stepping up and doing whatever they're going to do now, I mean, again, United States, we know how we operate, we know what our military is like, and if something should pop off, where again, we don't know if Trump is working with Putin to end this, but if something happens where the European Union steps in and it gets real shaky, and then Russia probably, I don't know, kind of how would you say, Russia probably step up to the European Union, and it becomes more of an issue, or Russia gets unhinged. At the end of the day, the United States will still have to step in. The European Union is still going to contact the United States. So we no matter what, we still have to step in. So I believe they want. I think this needs to be ended peacefully. Where, as Sheikh was saying,
Thank
there's
you,
too much.
Dr. Wayne.
There's too much people dying. So I think it needs to be ended peacefully. We it could be even a case where Russia, we kept saying that Russia is their equipment is old, it's falling apart, and maybe Russia knows this, and this war cannot be won. They can't win it. So how about we end it? But they want to save face. So Trump is maybe stepping in. They're having this conversation. It could be a case that he can actually end this. We don't know
Agreed.
that.
So
Well said.
I get in there
Yeah, go ahead, Ron.
because all all Ukraine wants is guarantee that Russia will not go in there and annex them like how they annexed Crimea. Okay, 3 years ago they started this war because Russia wants to go and take their land. They took the Donbass region, right? They fought. All they're asking for is some security guarantees. If they don't get that now, they give up out their rare earth minerals and everything. They cut a deal and Russia takes what they've gotten already. What is going to guarantee them that Russia is not going to do that again? They need to come up with something for Ukraine. All I'm hearing is,
You
okay, you
mean
can
like the
take,
guarantees that we
all
gave
I'm
Russia?
hearing is, you can, listen, Grant, don't speak over me, okay? Because you were talking all the time. All I'm hearing, I don't hear anybody
God.
say yet that they can get the guarantees that they're asking for. They're not saying that they don't want to end the war. They're just asking, listen, we're tired of this. These people, we can't trust them because they couldn't trust Russia the first time, right? And we all
You
know
mean
Yeah,
that.
but
So
but the,
why
but the
can't
guy,
they
but the
get,
guy, but this guy has been running in.
all
Guys,
right,
yeah, guys. Let 1 second. Let him finish. Let him
let
finish his.
me
Yeah.
finish. I didn't
Okay.
finish. And
Oh,
then
you
he
him?
just
started
finished.
Him?
talking over
Okay.
me.
Him or
Okay.
her?
All right, so I'm gonna give it back
No.
now. I wasn't finished and he started
See what I'm
talking over
saying?
me. But
See what I'm
listen,
saying?
Yeah, give her a mic,
since you
guys.
men love to talk over women, just keep it going. I land.
All right, hey guys,
Hey,
listen to me.
let her finish. Let her,
1 second, guys. People that's dropping my co-host or whatever, there's going to be a problem pretty soon. So what I'm going to do, guys, yeah, because we're spending so much time managing this room.
Like, yo, why is
Okay,
it every
one
time I
second,
try
Jeremy,
to
Jeremy,
go?
Jeremy, Jeremy. 1 second. I don't like speaking about it. We can speak once the podcast, and I want to go to you. I think you were next. You wanted to say something. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Jeremy.
I was simply saying, like, the man literally has been like his approval in his own country is terrible. He stayed in the office longer than he's way supposed to. Nobody, his own people don't want him there. His approval is like down the fucking shitter. They've asked him a million times, "Will you step down?" He dances around it. He's a dictator in itself. This guy is a dictator. He refuses to step down. He refuses to give up power. And now he just kiss the dick of the United States and shut the fuck up and be thankful that we're working with you.
Okay.
Period.
Okay, dictator
Jeremy,
is
you are
fair since
wrong.
February
One second.
2024. That's true.
Yo,
Second.
it's true.
Totally
Go look at
not
his approval
true.
No,
rating in
no,
his
no, no,
own
no. I
country.
Not
actually have,
true.
Jeremy, you were
No
wrong
one
about his
ratings
approval.
his
You obviously were listening to Donald
Really?
Trump,
Now,
who said it was 4%. It's over 50% at this
yes, it
Really?
point.
is.
Yes, it is. Go look at the polls. Don't listen to Donald Trump. Go actually look at the polls.
I
Now,
have it right here
October
as well.
2024, 69% of Ukrainians approved of him. December of 2024, it was like
It's
52%.
much
It's
higher
probably gone
now.
up since all of this recent tumult with Donald Trump, but it has definitely been over 50% the entire time. Donald Trump lied. Big surprise.
Yeah, and it's
My,
well,
Facts.
yeah. But
do
by the
we
way,
want war
Tara,
though?
it's
Are
the
we
way.
looking for war? Are we
Good.
looking for war? Are we just is what I'm saying is when Trump was in office,
We're
correct me if
looking
I'm
for
wrong, before
defense.
the 4 years,
Defense.
Russia didn't do this. And I know I'm sounding like Trump, but this is a point. Russia didn't do this. So Trump once again is in office and he's saying, "Hey, I got a little rapport with this guy. I could make sure that
You
we
guys
can do things
talking
to
about
make sure that this doesn't happen again." This is the closest you can get to a guarantee because we can't guarantee that it won't rain tomorrow. We can't guarantee that the UFOs won't land. We can't guarantee a lot of things, but we can't. I can guarantee you this: that I can sit down with this guy who's a dictator, who's an evil man. He's a jerk. This cool, but I can sit down with him and I can make sure that you have enough peace to where you can start recovering and rebuilding your land. I think Zelensky is so caught between a rock and a hard place. This is my theory that he's caught between the concept that his people might even prosecute him for war crimes against their people and or die in fighting Russia. I think he's caught in between this fear, and in the meanwhile, he's taking as much money as humanly possible so he can live a good life after the fact. He's looking for, I believe this guy is no longer a leader, he's looking for an escape plan. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, is there anybody from the Ukraine in the
Yeah,
building by any chance?
No.
that'd be interesting. But yeah,
Would
no,
you?
Russia. I just want to
Rajat?
counter this narrative that
Greene's
like
from
Russia's been
Ukraine.
all peaceful. I mean, they invaded Georgia, they took and kept South Ossetia, they invaded Moldova, they took and kept Transnistria, they've invaded Ukraine, and they've invaded Ukraine again, and that's all been since Putin got in charge, right? And that's just a short list. That's not even including like their involvement in the Nagorno Karabakh War, or the Second Nagorno Karabakh War, or their involvement in Syria, right? I'm just talking about land that they literally invaded and seized and took and kept, right? So this idea that like all of a sudden they're going to stop doing what they've been doing for the last 20 years, it really boggles my mind, dude. Because yeah, they might
Well,
stop for a
understand
couple
how
years, but they'll
do you,
keep going. They'll do it again. They haven't
do you
stopped
see, but
yet.
do you understand Russia's point of view? And I'm not a Russian sympathizer. I'm trying to say that Putin believes, just like if you owned a house and you have 4 bedrooms and 3 bedrooms gone and you only had 2 left, you want those other bedrooms back. Putin believes in
What
his
are you talking
mind that
about?
But
everything.
Putin is a
No, wait,
crazy
hold on,
lunatic.
wait, let me
He's a
make my
lunatic.
point. Putin
Where
believes
is
in his mind.
Yehuda?
He believes in his mind that all of that is Russia anyway. You can't
That,
stop
that
somebody
doesn't
from.
that doesn't make it right. That
Yeah,
doesn't make
I'm
it
not
yeah.
right.
saying
I
it's
could say
right.
like
That
I
This is
own the
doesn't
what I'm
neighbor's
talking about.
house.
that doesn't make it
Speaking
right.
towards motive. I'm speaking towards motive.
No, his
His
motive.
his motive is he's a man.
If that is his motive, then we're in trouble. Okay. All right. If that's his motive, then we're in trouble. Because here's the
I got it.
deal. That's like saying that an ex lover, okay, ex chick lover still has dominion over his or her ex, love interest. That's bullshit. So that's not true. So the reason you just gave is just if you
I
got
didn't
if you're
say it was
comfortable.
right, Jonathan. I'm just
No,
trying to I'm just saying the motive.
But
So
but
this is
that's
the
the
whole point.
reason.
If you know that's his motive, that's what he's going to continue to do unless you put things in place to where he can't do it. For some strange reason, Trump was able to make sure that he wasn't able to do what he did. The moment Trump left office is the moment he was able to scoot his ass back into Ukraine. So let's just so now the same person's in office trying to say I could broker a peace deal so you don't have to take 16-year-olds and put them on the front line. And the guy's saying I don't want to do it because whatever. I don't want to apologize. Hey, I asked you to put on a suit when you come in my house. He said, fuck your suit. I'm gonna come in my pajamas. Okay, hey, I'm asking you to sign this deal. I'm gonna go back and forth with you on the media. You know,
do you really believe this shit you saying?
Yeah,
he knows.
facts, in my opinion.
He
Yeah,
he knows.
wild
He
shit.
knows. He listen. This guy knows what a camera looks like. He knows what he's in front of a camera. He knows what a microphone looks like. How could he not keep his composure to sign a deal if he didn't want to sign a deal?
Okay,
Well,
this is Shad. If I could get in real quick, what I don't understand is y'all remember when Vance mentioned something about in October he campaigned for the other candidate for the opposition, right? Well, it was actually September, and that same day he also went to visit Trump in New York. And you know what Trump said about him, about Zelensky then, and this was a couple of months ago, guys. Okay, this was September. He said, this guy has had it rough. Probably had it more rough than, I'm paraphrasing, probably more rough than I did or that I have, right? Like he literally praised Zelensky for the things, for what him and his country have had to endure, right? Same day that that Zelensky met with Biden and Shapiro at the munitions plant in Illinois, right? Same day. And guess what also happened? Zelensky thanked Trump several times, and the American people several times. Thanked American people in Pennsylvania. So y'all are being bamboozled and tricked into thinking something that just 3 months ago Trump was on this side with Zelensky. So I don't know if you guys are actually looking into what you're being told, but these talking points from X, they are not working for you. So please get some new points. Go read or figure something else out because this is not it. Thank you.
It's called politics. If
No,
you ever been in politics, at the time, sometimes you can say one thing and then their opinion changes. I think that Trump is in the middle of negotiating peace, and he's having the same problem that
thank
Biden
you.
had with Zelensky, being a bossy dependent, wanting more than he's able to give him, and asking for what he doesn't can
Shake,
use to
shake.
solve the problem.
Shake, I think you know what, Shake. At least you didn't bring up NATO as a reason why. At least you didn't try that. Hey guys, real quick, guys. First and foremost, if you guys are listening here, or listening online, listening through any of the other platforms, whether it's Apple, iTunes, Spotify, Overcast, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Pandora, wherever it may be. Hey guys, come join us. We actually do these live nightly on the Chatter Social app. The Chatter Social app. You can download that Chatter Social app either at the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. And still, yeah, come join us live and participate in this conversation. We do this. We talk politics. We talk anything. We talk all news. So once again, make sure you guys do that. Hey, if you guys are here in the audience, look up top, folks. And what we have up top there is we have the actual podcast link. Okay, so do me a favor. Hit the podcast link, follow the podcast, download a few episodes. Guys, right now I'm looking at the metrics. We're in 34 countries, man. 34 different countries. People are listening to us in 34 different countries. So shout out to all you guys. That is just that speaks to the tremendous work that you guys are doing. I forget the newest two countries. What were the newest two countries that came online today, guys? Wow, I forgot the newest two countries already. But either way, I think it's South Korea and one other country. I forget the other country where we start getting listeners from. So shout out to all you guys. But once again, folks, up top is the link. We're gonna get back to the show. Getting back, Tara, are you there? Because I just took down the Budapest memorandum. Did the
What about?
did the Budapest memorandum offer security assurances already?
It's more complicated. So what happened was Russia agreed under the Budapest, as did the United States, not to invade Ukraine in exchange for Ukraine giving up its nuclear weapons. It agreed not to invade, not to do a whole bunch of things in connection with Ukraine. So Russia clearly violated the Budapest Memorandum. The United States also agreed that. In terms of the security guarantees, the problem is if somebody violated that agreement, the United States only agreed to bring it up to the Security Council. It's sort of technical, but they didn't say we will go in and support you with troops. What they said is we will raise this issue with the UN Security Council. But of course, the problem is that, and I think it's with the whoever is in charge of the Security Council. The problem is that Russia is a permanent member, so Russia can veto anything. So I think the problem with the Budapest Memorandum is it didn't have many teeth to it. in the event that Russia were to violate the
Yeah, that's what I
agreement.
said. They didn't
Yeah.
think about
Yeah,
one of
they didn't
the signers,
understand
one
that
of the
right,
signers.
the person most likely to do it was Russia, and the United States doesn't actually have an obligation exactly. I mean, there, it's implied that it will do something, but it's not mandated to do anything more than to go to the Security Council, which of course is useless.
But that was signed by Boris Yeltsin. Putin ain't finna agree to that. And the same thing is
It was signed by a country. When the country is 1994, when a country signs it, the subsequent leaders are generally bound by that unless they disavow it. I am not aware that Putin ever addressed it, but maybe he did.
so. Has there ever been anything we signed on to that a president signs on to it representing a country, and another president says, "Hey, we're going to pull out of that"?
Absolutely. Trump pulled out of the Paris Climate Accords, but we don't know. Do you know that Putin pulled out of this or just ignored it?
I think he just ignored the shit.
That's right. So, but look, Russia is not a democracy.
Well,
There's no way he does whatever he wants to. The problem with this agreement was, Ukraine gave up something in exchange for, unfortunately, not enough of a strong promise.
and so there was no enforcement put in behind it, right? You're just basically they just all signed a piece of paper and said, "We're going to go play volleyball."
Carlos, I wouldn't put it like that. What I would say is that there was an enforcement mechanism, but the enforcement mechanism somehow assumed that Russia and the United States would be on the same side and that one of the parties to the agreement would not be the one invading Ukraine. That was maybe foolhardy, but in 1994, maybe it was viewed as a, reasonable supposition. I don't know.
Tara, we've brought this up before with regards to the Budapest being broken by Putin, and I don't know if you know, but wasn't it tied to the ousting of the pro-Russian president Yanukovych, and that's what kind of led him because Putin wasn't always against the West. In fact, I believe he was trying to be part of NATO at one point, and then that call was intercepted by the Russians, where they said that they were participating in that regime change that led to Crimea. Is is that accurate?
I don't know. I must admit, I'm not familiar with the phone call, what you're talking about. Putin did ask at one point to join NATO. There are, that basically, there are suppositions that he didn't really mean it. And if you think about it, NATO was started to against Soviet aggression or against Russian aggression. So if you think about it, it makes no sense for Putin to join NATO. It's literally a pact against him. But I think the animosity certainly did grow over the years. In the beginning, I think that, he might have thought there'd be more cooperation, but I basically think since 2003, 4, 5, somewhere around there, there has been no cooperation and there's been no effort on his part to be anything that I would view as conciliatory.
Um, Tara, it says seek approval from the Security Council so that to act against the aggressor.
But who's on the Security Council?
Yeah,
Russia.
I understand that. So,
Right.
but once again, seek security to act against the aggressor. So there was implied security assurances there. As a matter of fact, it says it actually says Budapest memorandum on security assurances. So they didn't go to the security, but they council, but it wasn't. They would go to security council to get for I guess authorization to go and
Yeah,
defend them.
yeah, but I
Yeah,
don't
but
even
yeah,
know if they did that. To be honest, I don't know if the U.S. ever actually even did that, because they probably would have assumed that Russia, of course, would have vetoed any UN action of any
yeah,
kind.
I understand that, but when you said that, because I don't want because there's a lot of people here saying that there was no security assurance. There was security assurance. It's just that the security they said the route in which they did it, it was not because
It's
of the
not really
fact.
enforceable,
Yeah,
basically, is the
because
problem.
one of the
Yeah,
signatories was the aggressor.
that's
Okay,
correct. It's if let's say if I'm trying to think who else. Let's say
North Korea.
North Korea had invaded Ukraine. Presumably, they could have gone to Security Council and gotten some action taken at that point. Yes, but because it was one of the signatories, and not even that, not even the fact that it was a signatory, because Russia is a permanent member of the Security Council and has veto power, there was no, and was, by the way, in 1994. Interestingly enough, so there was just no way in this circumstance it could ever be enforced.
And
Yeah,
that's the hypocrisy I speak to is because of the fact that everybody's Russia, Russia, Russia. And I'm not caping for Putin. So, but everybody's Russia, 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 but they allowed him to sit on the Security Council with veto power. Meaning that even, like you said, North Korea invades Ukraine, there's no guarantee that even if they go to the Security Council, they're gonna actually get a resolution because one of the members of the Security Council can veto it. So why are we playing this game like Russia bad, Russia bad, Russia bad, but we let them sit in the UN on the Security Council with veto power?
in order for the UN to function, that was the agreement. I think the only time you guys could have possibly gotten Russia off the Security Council is right after the fall of the Soviet Union.
Yeah, I mean,
That
it was the Soviet Union that had the place on the Security Council, if I
exactly.
remember. And so, because of that, like Russia sort of, when it fell apart, inherited it. And I don't know if there was a mechanism in place at that point for people to say no, but I don't know the details, but I don't know that anybody even tried at that point. But it wasn't, what, Russia was one of the, the powers in World War II. It was on our side at that point, and they were considered one of the strongest countries in the world, and they would have been placed on the Security Council for that reason. So I guess I'm not quite understand. I mean, it's not like we let them. It was like they had that position as one of the main powers.
Yeah, and as I said, the only opportunity to have removed them from the Security Council was at the fall of the Soviet Union. At that moment, they could have voted. You know, um, but yeah, that's what we're speaking about. But once again, guys, so Carlos, do you agree with the taking of aid from the pausing of the aid? I should say for the from the Trump administration by the Trump administration.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I don't think that there's an end in sight. You keep pumping in, you keep pumping it, you keep pumping in. There needs to be a plan in place before any additional aid is given. That hey, what is the caveat to ending this particular war? Now, both sides are going to have to give up something. But in my fundamental belief, I believe the side that's going to give up the most is going to be Ukraine. I don't think Russia really is going to give up anything in whatever it comes about it. I think Ukraine is going to lose land in this particular situation with
Then
this.
then Ukraine shouldn't take it. Then Ukraine shouldn't take it. I'm sorry. If Ukraine is going to lose land, whatever, no, absolutely not.
Zelensky doesn't hold all the cards. President Trump,
Zelensky
along with
actually,
Putin, holds all the cards.
no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. After
You,
what the EU, when the EU got together and did what they did last week, that weakened Trump hands considerably. All
you
right,
think
because
you think the
Europe has a stake in this.
president?
Europe has a stake in this.
Okay, all right. You gonna find out the hard way that
Okay.
at the end of the day, Donald Trump is going to be the final say so on this particular situation, and all parties will yield to whatever he demands.
That's a fact.
Okay. If that was the case, how come they didn't? How did come he didn't yield on Friday?
I mean, here's the thing: you don't always have to beat your opponent into submission. What you do is you let them. What is FAFO? F around and find out. You're going to find out, and Zelensky's going to find out the hard way that in the end, he's got to deal with the American president. Europe is not going to be there like he thinks they're going to be there. Yeah, these are symbolic gestures that Europe is making, but Europe is not going to
Two
put
hundred
that
billion dollars isn't symbolic at all.
on. Huh? So what do you mean? What do you mean $200 billion? Not what?
$200 billion is not symbolic at all, and troops on the ground isn't symbolic at all either.
Well, tell them to go buy weapons with it.
So once again, so
I
anyone
thought it
has
was
it?
2 billion. It's 200 billion. I thought it was 2 billion.
That's what I thought it was too.
What is 2 billion? What are we talking about?
The money from that they released to Ukraine from Russia that they froze.
Money that they froze is up to a maximum of 11 billion, I believe, but it was to be given out in monthly increments, maybe a billion a month, something like that. So we don't know how long this freeze will last, et cetera.
$11 billion supposed to hold over
No,
the
no,
hold.
no, 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 Tara. That's the money that Biden gave. We're talking about the money that the EU and UK
Sorry, I
and
thought you meant to the United States. Okay, sorry.
So, one second here. Funds provided.
Somebody put 325 billion in the chat over 4 years.
One moment here. Tira, how much funds? How much funds did they? As your mobile high. It's okay. Hmm.
About overall or recently?
Reached on Friday.
Thought
Well,
they pledged
Oh,
2 billion
Russia.
as a loan.
yeah, I
Okay.
think it was UK. Oh my gosh, I have to. UK pledged something like 2 or 3 billion, but it was to be used to purchase missiles from Ireland. So that's how they were going to get them some weaponry. The other countries, I don't actually know if there's been a specific and pledge per se. They've all said we're going to give you more, but it's been in drips and drabs as far as I remember. But maybe Jonathan, you might know better.
Well, what I'm seeing, what I'm reading here is that there's $218 billion in frozen Russian assets, and that it's there. Europe, they're sitting on $218 billion in frozen Russian assets.
Yeah, but how
So
much is to Ukraine? I mean, because that could be mansions, yachts, all kind of stuff. Gold.
it was 2.6 billion pounds, or
John,
2.8 billion dollars, $2.8 billion. Yeah, I confused with the money that they have frozen over, and they have. I know they have $200 billion worth of Russia, so they pledged $2.8 billion
Yeah,
now.
but wasn't that Britain? I thought that was like Britain did that and said they were going to be used mainly to purchase, like I said, these missiles from Ireland.
Yeah, that was UK, absolutely.
so they
Also
gave
as a loan,
breakfast money. That's breakfast money.
but they have $218 billion that they're able to dole out. 218 billion that they have available. So that guys, that once again, here's the thing. And they're putting troops right here. They pledge troops, correct?
No, no, I don't know if it's troops per se. I think Britain said they'd be willing to consider, certain helpers on the ground, but I think that's dicey because once you get there, I don't know that Britain, the people have agreed to that or are comfortable with that, truthfully.
Guys, I'm gonna tell you something. He arrived in Great Britain, in London, and the people outside was cheering him. They were cheering him. I'm not talking about outside of 10 Downing Street. I'm talking about on his way to 10, number 10. They were cheering him. They were cheering him, and they absolutely was like they showed a huge support. The people of London showed huge support to Zelensky, to make sure that it's just a big difference than what we're seeing here in the United States. Believe it or not, I believe most Americans support Ukraine. Okay, but we're not getting that information right now. We're not getting that because right now the people that doesn't support him are making the loudest noise. That's how I see it. But yeah, to do what they did, to pause everything that they've done, to pause the military aid. I think it's something that when you look at it, Putin, Trump, I was calling Putin. Trump is on Putin's side. I want guys, and the market, like everything that's happening right now, this our country hasn't gotten better. I'm sorry, we're not winning. All right, to cause $1 trillion sell off on the market, to go out there and put these sanctions out there. I mean, these tariffs out there. Um, that isn't what we signed up for. So that's
And,
why.
Canada just announced that they were putting reciprocal tariffs on a lot of our stuff,
Yeah,
starting in about less than an hour.
there you go. So cars are more expensive. They're $4,000 to $10,000 more starting tomorrow. Starting tomorrow, cars are $12,000 to $10,000 more. That's where we are, folks. So anyone on the right want to jump in real quick? I got a couple minutes here.
Jonathan,
Yeah, go ahead.
I think if somebody is American and they prefer support any other country, they kind of losing their right to be an American. American, we should defend, always agree with America first. No matter what happened, we are American and we will not support any other country before American. American will always be first. That's the way it's supposed to be. I don't care what people say, but everything should be America first. Blame.
I agree with that.
Does that apply to Donald Trump supporting Russia?
Jonathan,
Everything, completely everything, America
So
first.
it applies to Donald Trump then.
Completely everything, America first.
If my mama was a serial killer, I'm not putting her first. She's last on the list.
So
Carlos.
You can't
Then
just be
you
part
don't
of.
love your mama then, boy.
Oh, I
Mama,
love her.
mama first.
Serial
It's
killer.
always mama first. I don't care what you talking about. I don't care if mama is a serial killer. Mama's gonna be a good serial killer because I love my mama.
Jonathan, I got a prediction. I'm gonna call it here first. Russia Ukraine war will end within months. Trump playing a key role in shutting this down. So there we go. We call it here first. I'm not betting no money because I know people like to put money. I'm not putting money on shit, but I'm calling that it will end. It's working out right now.
Dr. Wayne don't want to lose no money.
yeah, Wayne. Yeah, Wayne. Listen to me. I think it's gonna end as well. But Trump is playing a role, and I don't like the role that he's playing right now. Once again, guys, I'll say this: we don't reward the bully. I'm sorry, we've never done that before. And to come in here and just to have these conversations with you guys daily, and see that you guys are all for rewarding the bully. You know, that's not American freedom.
That's your opinion.
No, go ahead, go ahead, Derek. I mean, go ahead, Cindy.
No. What do you mean rewarding the bully and the president's the bully and
No,
who
I
else is
didn't
the
say the
bully?
president's the bully. Didn't say the president's the bully at all.
Okay, so Russia's the bully, right?
Russia's the bully that went into
I agree.
Ukraine.
Okay, I agree.
Okay, so he said that's my opinion. So we don't reward the bully. You know, they went in there and and they got they're getting their ass handed to them. You know how many dead soldiers? You know when they have their Memorial Day, how many parents, how many wives, how many children have lost parents because of this war that never had to happen, and now he's trying to settle for some land. Like, hey, I want to look like a win, and he's begging the American president to give him that land. You know, it just doesn't work out that way. So, you know, we don't reward that. You went in there and you got your ass whooped. You can't go, stand there with your nose all bloody and your lip busted and your eye closed and like, yeah, give me that land right there. And I want you don't fucking do that. You lost. Okay, you're losing. We all we've done is victim shame and victim blame. Ukraine was invaded. Okay, great. Let's say we don't want to give them money no more. Then let's not give them money. Okay, if you don't want to support them, okay, I think it's un-American to not support them. But hey, if you don't want to support them, don't support them. But don't make them into the aggressor when they're not. Okay, don't make them into the aggressor because all we've spoken about is what Ukraine could do. Ukraine could sign
I
the
lost
mineral deal.
service.
Are you there?
Yeah, I
Do
lost
you want
service.
Yeah.
Let
you
me
want to
ask you
fight
this
World War
question.
Three?
Let me ask you this question. I want to ask you again. If you were President Trump, what would you be doing right now? Instead of playing Monday morning quarterback, what would you do?
You
Tell
know what I
me.
do?
What would
I,
Mr. Bing do
I would
if
double.
you were president? You're Trump.
Okay,
You're not Biden. You're Trump. Good.
I would double down on this on the weaponry and the funding and say have at it. Now, here's the thing. Because Russia is already like weakened, they want a deal. They've been searching for a deal. They want to do peace talks under Biden, but they've been unreasonable. But that's how you started out. You start out unreasonable to try to fill out if there's something there. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so I think right now I would have doubled down because here's the thing, and Russia can't. You know, Russia is in no position to really negotiate anything. The only cards that Russia have is what Trump's giving them right now. That's it. Russia is defeated. You know, pretty much defeated. They have nukes, but they don't want to use that because they use that they now they become pariahs, and if anything touches a NATO nation, then we have to respond. That's all they have. I mean, Ukraine exposed them. So I would have doubled down, and I would have said, look, if you want out, you know, we're not going to deal with Crimea. That right there, you guys can deal with that shit later. But all this land that you trying to claim right now stays with Ukraine. You get nothing extra for coming in. That's it. I mean, the Russian mothers don't want their kids fighting no more. They said it. I mean, they are out protesting. The Russian mothers were out protesting and saying, "Get bring our children back," because too many of them were dying and unsafe equipment. Okay, they had to go grab North Korean soldiers to help them fight this war. North Korea had to give them 100,000 soldiers. All right, and so
All right, that war is going to come to an end. So now, Mr. Trump, what are you going to do next?
what am I going to do next?
Yeah, what's your next play here?
My next play is now that
Because that
Russia
war's been going on a long time right now. So we're
three
coming to
years,
an end now.
3 years.
Yeah, that's too long. But go ahead,
Yeah, what now is we're going to once
Mr.
again
Trump. What are you going to do for the economy?
for the economy.
Right,
That has nothing to do with Russia. That has nothing to do with Ukraine.
right. I know that. I'm just asking. That's
You're
coming to
right.
an end. We're going to come to an end with that. So, Mr. Trump, where are we going now?
In regards with Ukraine,
No, that's going to get put in the rearview mirror. That's going to go in the rearview mirror. Mr. Trump, what are you going to do for our economy right now?
what I'm going to first of all, I'm not going to put those ridiculous tariffs out there. All right.
Okay.
Now there's some deals that we need to. There are definitely some agreements that we have out there that we definitely need to renegotiate and look at. You know, I would put more effort into looking at everything that we have and strapping the bad deals and keeping the good ones, or redoing the ones that's not so good.
I'm sorry, Mr. Trump, but what are those good deals and what are the bad deals?
Now, once again, I said we have to look into them. I don't
Oh, we
have
have
all
to
that
look
information.
into them. Well, you don't have
Yeah,
time. You
yeah,
only
we
have
do.
4 years. You only have 4 years, Mr. Trump. What are you going to do?
You have 4 years, so there's more than enough time to affect change. There's more than enough time to affect change. But once again, remember the deal that we have with Mexico and Canada. Trump negotiated. He strapped NAFTA, and he that's what he did. Okay,
So, Mr. Trump, do you think you're hurting the economy right now with what everything you're doing?
absolutely.
Okay,
Did you see what happened to the market today, Cindy?
that's 1.5%. Okay, don't talk to me about markets. Okay,
Cindy,
that's
what do you
one
mean?
and a
Don't talk
half
about market.
percent.
Cindy,
Okay,
man,
seven
Cindy, it's
hundred.
$1 trillion, Cindy.
Doesn't matter. We all knew what we were going into, Mr. Trump, for 2025 because it
No.
started in 2024. Yes, yes, it did.
Okay. Why do you say that, Cindy?
Because the economy cycles out, Mr. Trump,
Okay,
and
Trish, are you here, Trish?
you walked yourself right into a bad economy, Mr. Trump. Now, what are you going to do for the
Okay.
American people?
Well, anyway,
Well,
Trish said
Cindy, why don't you be Mrs. Trump? What would you have done?
That's not the question. I'm
no,
What would
asking
you have
questions.
done?
no.
What laws, what legislation, what would you have advocated that your party do in Congress
Well,
to
here's
help
the
you?
difference, Michelle.
What would you have done?
Here's the difference between me and you.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
guys have all the opinions. You're all the Monday morning quarterbacks.
No,
I would
you're a
have to
Monday
no,
morning
sit down.
quarterback too,
I'm
no,
not
Cindy.
a
Cindy,
Monday
I'm
morning
not.
quarterback.
We're
I have a money
I've
morning
we're
called,
call.
listen,
discussing it.
I've called this market. I told you where we're going to be in 23, where we're going to go 24 and 25, Jonathan, and we're
You
right
did,
here.
but not everyone who was supporting Trump.
What's that?
They talk nothing but trash
What was
about
my
about Biden.
what was my favorite line, Jonathan?
You,
What was
Cindy.
my
What about
favorite line
everybody
in
else?
23?
Cycles. But
And what else did I say? I don't care who's going to be president.
But Cindy,
It's
what
still going
about
to roll the
everyone
same
else?
way, Rochelle.
Cindy,
So,
you said
Mr.
that.
Trump,
Cindy, you said that. But this was caused. Okay, I'm sorry. This is being caused. This is self inflicted. This is because of the job cuts. It's adding to unemployment, uncertainty in the job market. Okay, the tariffs.
I'm sorry, Mr. Trump, but how do you explain the economy started to go down in 2024
Miss
before you
Trump,
were
you explain
president?
it.
That's not true. That's not true,
Of course
You
Cindy.
it
explain
is.
it, Miss Trump.
Said
No,
no.
yes, it
Biden.
was.
That's solid. But no,
Cindy and
Okay.
Biden.
Jonathan.
The economy started to slow down because of one thing: interest rates. Interest rates, Mr. Trump. What are
Interest
we
rates,
going to
Cindy.
do to get the interest rates to a
Mrs.
happy
Mrs.
medium.
Mrs.
Cindy,
Trump.
No more free
wait,
money.
wait,
No
guys.
more free
I
money
have
at
to have this, guys.
3%.
We actually started bringing interest rates, started working on getting the short term interest rates down. Okay, they started bringing it down because they
Really?
got inflation under control. Yeah, short term interest rates were coming down, Cindy.
Yeah, what,
They
Jonathan?
did a half, they did a quarter, they did another
That's the
quarter.
Fed rate.
That's what I
Let's
said.
not
That.
forget.
I
The
just said the
Fed
short
rate
term.
doesn't, okay.
I said the short term, Cindy. I did say short term interest rates. I 100% said short term interest rates.
Okay. But the borrowing doesn't go by the Fed rate, right? Your mortgage rates don't go by
No,
the
no,
Fed
that's
rate,
mortgage.
right?
No, borrowing does go by this. It's called
Only
car
if you're
payments,
borrowing money,
car loans, credit cards. A whole bunch of
correct?
things go by that.
Right? That's true. But guess what? What stimulates the economy? What's the two things?
Okay, you're talking about real estate, but you're talking about mortgages, Cindy. Here's
Stock
the thing.
market and the real estate
Yeah,
market are your two
exactly.
biggest venues. Go
hmm
ahead.
So here's the thing, Cindy. In terms of
The
the
stock
that's
market has needed a correction. Correct me if I'm not right or wrong here.
it
We
has
all
needed a
knew,
correction.
of course it did.
This correction is due to him what he was saying, Cindy, what he was speaking.
We
While
all
he was
knew the
speaking, it was
market was
dropping.
going to correct. Any good wealth advisor would have told you that 2 years ago. The
Okay,
market was due for a correction.
Cindy, Warren Buffett called this terrorism.
He can call whatever he wants.
Okay,
Call whatever he wants.
Warren Buffett said that the acts
He
of those
also
terrorists.
said that you have to feel some short term pain for the long run. Is this a sprint or a marathon?
But
Is
Cindy,
the
so
economy we going into a sprint or a
or do
marathon?
we do we are we saying that Warren
We have to
Buffett?
feel some pain
But
until things
are we
get
saying
better.
that Warren Buffett doesn't know what he's talking about?
Well, I'm not saying Warren Buffett doesn't know what he's talking about, but he's not the genius of all geniuses. What? Why?
Okay, but you see, you guys talk about Elon and his
Warren
accomplishments.
Buffett's had major
Okay,
loss in the stock market too, buddy.
Warren Buffett pulled out a ton of money because he saw this coming, Cindy.
A
All right,
lot of
Warren
good, a
Buffett.
lot of, hold on.
Why do we
A
everyone
lot of
judge themselves
smart
against
guys.
him?
A lot of smart guys.
But
Look at
everyone
Ray.
judged
He's
themselves against
put
Warren
he's
Buffett.
put his
Now you're saying
clients
he's
on
not a
the
genius.
listen. Again, Ray deals with hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, right? Of people's money. Let's call it what it is, right? He's been taking his people on, putting them on the sideline for over a year and a half now. Right now, depending on your age, you have more tolerance for more risk than you do at my age, right? So everybody would be treated differently. Samantha, she can be in the S&P 500. It doesn't matter if it goes up and down for the next 10 years, 20 years. That's her retirement fund, right? But for somebody my age or your age or somebody older than us, well, that's a problem when the market starts to go down. But again, the correction we knew was going to happen. It's happening. The point is the economy. You guys want to just keep talking about what's going on in other countries. I care about this country. How are people going to eat? How are people going to live? How are they going to afford their rents? How are they going to afford their mortgages? How are they going to run their businesses? How are they going to keep their businesses afloat? That's what I care about. But you guys
So
want to
you
always
don't care
get
what
hooked
goes
on
on
the
in
same
real.
thing and bang the same drum night after night after night after night. Eventually, this will run its course, and you better be prepared to talk about the real problem. And the real problem is in our country.
Because they're
And that's what
warmongers,
I care
Cindy.
about is our country.
So you don't care what
Period.
goes on in real time, Cindy.
No, right now, Rochelle, it's about saving people that are on the streets hungry, starving, living homeless.
You mean
They
the
don't
people
have
who
roofs
lost
over
their
their heads.
jobs?
What's that?
You mean the federal employees?
Oh, enough of the federal employees, okay? Go back to
Who
work.
cares
That's
about those
Go back
that's
to
federal
fucking
employees?
happening.
Why do
work.
That's
y'all
Go
happening
care
in
about
back
real
that
to
so
time.
work.
much?
That's
Go back
happening
to
in real
work.
time, Cindy.
Go
You
back
can't
to
say
work.
you only care about one thing and when other things are happening at the same time. That doesn't
I
make
can
any
say
sense.
anything I want. I just
That
did, didn't
doesn't
I?
make that doesn't
Did
make
I
any
not
sense,
just say
Cindy.
what I said?
Mrs. Trump, you have to care about everything, not just one thing.
No, I don't. Stay the fuck out of everybody's business and start concentrating on America.
That's not what we can do, Cindy.
Well, you know what? If we have, but
We
so
We're
we
too
so
can't
you know
irritated with
police the
everything else.
so you
world,
know the
dude. Why do
definition.
y'all care about policing the world so much? This is
What's the
ridiculous.
definition of
We
the
live in a
saying?
global economy.
Well,
That's
because
why.
Exactly.
No, the
It's a
global
global.
economy doesn't do anything for America when we got the highest GDP in the whole freaking world. That doesn't matter.
bingo.
We control
Really?
everything. Yes.
So who does America have debt with?
Oh my
Americans?
God.
Or do we have debt with other
It's because we
countries?
shipped off
What
manufacturing
about
in
the
the
other
late 70s,
countries
early
that we're
80s.
in
Why that
debt to?
happened in the
What
first place?
about the other
Because of the
what about
Democrats.
those countries that we have debt with? They don't exist?
We only owe one country
Two of
money
them,
in a high
China.
level, and that's only China, and that's because we shipped
Exactly.
off
At a
manufacturing
high
to
level,
China.
that means that others exist
Yeah,
besides
so
Well,
China,
why
then
this?
though.
This
I
is the
guess
The
only
China.
others
I
president.
guess
others exist
China.
besides
I
China,
guess.
though,
I
right?
guess
So
China
it's a
then.
No, just
global
China, just
economy. It's
China,
a global
So I guess
just
we
economy.
don't have
China,
to be afraid of China,
It's a
right?
just
global
China.
Well,
economy
my
because
guys,
of the money.
here's the thing, guys, real quick. Yeah, definitely. Yo, guys, listen to me. We
This
want
war is
to.
going to come to an end very
This war,
shortly.
it's going to come to an end.
Okay. So go on to your next. Be ahead. You know what? Be ahead of the next curve. Stop being in the rearview mirror. Talk about what's coming at you, not where you've been. Where we going? And
People are
by the
stuck
way,
on 1980s USSR nostalgia. Like anything's gonna change, guys. Can we I don't understand why the liberals are so hell bent on policing the world while our infrastructure, jobs, and things of that nature are literally crumbling. Like, why is everybody stuck in the twilight zone? Can we all of us get on one page and put this country first? This is the first president in decades that actually cares about what's going on here, instead of trying to police the world, sending billions upon billions of dollars overseas to a proxy world that doesn't even have anything to do with us. We can't police Europe. If we didn't even jump into World War II when we did the last time, they will all be saluting the air right now as a Nazi fucking fascist regime right now.
No,
So
and
let's
we
just
would have as
Okay,
well.
concentrate.
and if I'm
Let's
going
just
to argue
easy.
with
concentrate
you, I'm going
We
to
on what's
argue with
entered
you
going on
face
here
to
in this
face,
country right
Mister
now.
we
Bing.
entered the war because
Because
we
we were
were
attacked.
attacked by Japan.
Yeah,
Okay, so we had
keyword.
to
Say what country attacked this?
Japan, but
Oh,
they were
thank you,
part.
thank
They
you.
were in an alliance with
What
Germany.
what
Maybe you
year are we
didn't
living in
realize
right now?
that.
What year are we living in
What I'm
right
saying
now?
They're
is, he
stuck
just
on
said
He
this
if
brought
we
it.
What
hadn't
He
what
brought it
saved
year
up.
are
Europe.
we
1980s
living in?
nostalgia,
Can I,
man.
can I, easy, you just said if we hadn't saved Europe, but the thing is, we were attacked and Japan was in an alliance with Germany, so that was really not, that was something we had
Absolutely.
to do. What are you talking about? Number two, I wanted to ask Cindy something. Forgetting Ukraine for right now, these tariffs on Mexico, and particularly Canada, strike me as incredibly stupid, ill-advised, and for no particular economic reason that I can come up with. They seem to be sort of vengeance, and I'm not even sure what Canada could do because Canada is not a source of fentanyl, not a source of illegal migrants, et cetera. And they've already spent, $1.5 billion on trying to police it more to placate Trump.
Close your
So
borders
why?
down.
So
Close your
why is
borders
he
down.
doing this? Why is he doing
I
these
think he made that
tariffs?
very clear. Fair playing
Why?
field. Close your borders down, and let's make it a fair market. Well, let me ask you this question:
Close which
when you're
border?
in business, two people got to make money, right? Not just one. Two people. The deal's got to work for both people, right? Or you're out of business.
But the
Correct?
thing is, he's not saying it's an economic issue. He's saying that they're not doing enough. But Canada has less than 1% of fentanyl and almost no illegal migrants. So what is he talking about? He's making it up. This is essentially improvisational economics
Okay, so
because he's
Tara, you
he's
tell me
pissed.
why is Trump pissed at Canada? What'd they do?
Why? Because he didn't like Trudeau. I don't know why he's pissed at Canada. This is a man who demands obsequiousness. You know he has an ego, like a huge ego. Maybe Justin Trudeau wasn't nice enough to him.
I do not understand the Canada tariff. I don't. I
That's what I'm
simply
Trump
trying to
don't.
say.
Okay.
Because Trudeau don't kiss his ring. That's all.
I think it was a
Oh, let me tell
personal
you something,
thing because
Yvonne.
he just
He
didn't
will
like
end up kissing
Trudeau.
his ring. So let's get
No,
that
no, I
straight.
don't think he will.
Oh,
Canada
I
just,
think he will. I
Uh,
think he
next
will.
next next week we have a new.
Yeah, I know. Thank God for you guys.
All right. So anyway, guys, with that being said,
All right,
wow.
Mr.
That
Trump.
yeah. Wait 1 second. Hold on, guys. That was a great exchange. So Cindy, let me ask you a question. Do you really think that that we're heading in the right direction when it comes to Ukraine?
We're going to go back to that.
I just want to ask you a question.
I can't even talk about it anymore. We've done it nausea. Like
I
I
understand that,
want to throw
Cindy.
up already.
I know, but my
What
question,
it
right, real
again?
quick.
It again? Is it coming to it? Why am I on here alone? Get back on here, Jonathan. Why am I up here alone? Somebody get up here with me. Thank you, Jeremy. Oh, okay. It's coming to an end. Why we? How long we want to talk about? What happens when that conversation's over? Like I said, get ahead of the next
Yeah,
conversation.
absolutely. I get
You're
that.
acting like this war just started,
No,
or we're in the middle of it.
not at
We're at
all.
the end of it.
Yeah,
We're
Mister
not
Trump,
finished.
what
Cindy,
is the
this
What
shit's
inning are we in?
over.
The bottom of the
I
ninth.
that's like
This shit's over,
Thank you. We're in
guys.
the
Come
bottom of the
on.
ninth on the.
All right, guys. I want you guys to hold that thought. Hold that thought. Hold that thought, guys. Hold that thought, please. All right. Thank you so much. Wow. So, guys, once again, I want to say first and foremost, we've come to the end of our show. Hey, don't worry, folks. But we're still going to keep this thing going. Come to our end of our show. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you guys. Make sure you guys are following the podcast up top. If you guys are here, follow the podcast up top. Secondly, hey guys, if you're listening to us, come join us on a live recording. I want to say thank you guys for joining us for the last 2 hours and some odd minutes. Look forward to seeing you guys again. I want to say thank you once again to all the co-hosts and all the people in the audience. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode of Debate the News live from Chatter Social. Until then, folks, you guys have a great day.